not my role to redeem you. Oh, the weight of guilt and the stink of shame, and the medicine that you need. Trust me, I know what I speak. Trust me, I know what I speak. Pitiful place to be, wallowing in what was me. Saxophone music, walk the road of self-reflection, and one day you'll find some peace. Boy, you better get invested, 'cause redemption ain't guaranteed. I'm not here to forgive, it's not my role to redeem you. The weight of guilt and the stink of shame, you're the medicine that you need. Trust me, I know what I speak. Trust me, gotta let your ego
important message. An Ohio grand jury recently dismissed felony charges against a man who had dismantled a flock camera. Apparently, he took down the solar panel, took down the camera, and made it inoperable, causing a couple $1,000s of damage. Yet the evidence against him was pretty substantial. They had him on camera, they had the tools that he used, they had his car placed at the scene, yet that grand jury refused to give him felony charges. This is what is known as jury nullification. It's when a jury unanimously brings forth a not guilty verdict because they do not agree with the law or its application. And if jury nullification happens, the judge cannot overturn that verdict. Judges often don't even tell them this concept. They tell the jury to apply the law as it is written. Historically, jury nullification has happened in cases of extreme punishment or laws that are bullshit, like when people have dodged the draft. And this grand jury is powerfully saying what we already know. No matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, everyone in this country is vehemently against the constant surveillance and these flock cameras. To where I've seen people making videos now saying that Halloween is Deflock America night, because everyone would already be in costumes and very difficult to identify. Now I should probably state that I do not agree with this behavior, because it is unlawful and it is not a good idea. But no matter the case, Ohio is sending us a very powerful message, and we need to listen.
In this conversation, I haven't attacked your personal life once. I haven't attacked you as a man. I haven't said that you're not man enough. But
at the same time,
you're sitting here questioning my femininity. So between me and you, who's more stoic right now?
I think it's me.
Yeah, okay. Whatever you want to tell yourself, boss.
Okay.
Should we move on to feminism?
Yeah, let's move on to feminism.
Okay.
You believe it's the single most destructive force in modern society, feminism.
I think that feminism definitely ruined part of society.
Okay, so do you back off from your original prompt? Do you want to, if you want to update that, that's totally fine. I just want to know where you're at.
It's very, very destructive for modern society, yes.
So
Well, let's talk about feminism.
Sure.
One of my biggest problems is that there is a woman sitting in front of me right now where she's married and possibly have children at home, but she flew out to do a podcast with some dude.
what's the problem with that?
That is a problem.
Why?
Why? Because I personally don't think that's what women should do.
Why?
Because women should be around their men. You're flying out to now. I'm sure that you've been in other places. So you constantly have to be on the move. How much time do you really have for your home, for your husband, for your children, which I don't know if you have children, but if you do, you should be there for them, not for me.
Why?
And not for anybody else.
Shouldn't men be there for their family?
They should, but men are known within history to have to go places to take care of
Why?
their people. Because that's what we do.
Why?
We're men. We die for you.
Just ontologically has to be that way?
It's just how we're bred.
That guy looks like he doesn't have a lot of brain cells firing in his head. Let's get a second opinion, Bob.
Stoicism over broicism.
Yeah.
That's what we just witnessed. The woman is a stoic, an actual stoic, and the bro is a fake stoic who's confused it with hustle culture.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so I listened to. I don't know if you listened to. I've been trying to get more regular on it again. I used to, on a regular basis, listen to the Daily Stoic.
Yeah, Ryan Holiday. Yeah.
Yeah. And I like, just the little 4 or 5 minute things that they do almost every day are generally pretty fucking awesome. I've been making sure to listen to it with my son around because even though he's not like actively into learning about this kind of stuff right now, I know that he hears things. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that Holiday took a big hit to his following last year. I think when I don't know how long he's been publicly criticizing Trump and Andrew Tate and all these other clowns, but he started doing it on his YouTube channel, and apparently he lost a lot of subscribers, which a true Stoic would not care about, right? So
right. A true Stoic wouldn't have any feelings about the matter whatsoever. Yeah, as Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Bro, quit your bitching. Quit having feelings. What are you, a woman? No. Yeah, it's like this. I mean, he's the one not being stoic. He's the one that like can't even explain. I mean, essentially proving that it's all about his feels. He just feels really strongly. Give me some metric by which feminism has destroyed any aspect of society. Just seems like it.
yeah. Or give me a metric for determining whether parts of society that have been destroyed deserve to be preserved in the first place, right?
True. And yeah, why do you say that men would why would you have to die? I mean, like honestly, I know women that would die for their families too if they're put in a position. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
kind of just generally do you love someone and are you a coward or not?
Right.
And I don't know.
And Stoicism is not about having no emotions or even showing no emotions. It's about mindfulness combined with justice. That's pretty much it.
What are the four things of Stoicism? Is justice,
Courage,
wisdom,
temperance, wisdom, and justice. And justice is the foundation of the other three.
Yep. You can't really have. I mean, they're all essentially. Gordy, quit flinging open my door, too. The door flings open. I thought it was a person.
Gordy
Gordy
is not a Stoic. Yeah, and by justice, the Stoics meant social justice.
That kind too, yeah.
That is what they meant.
Mhm.
So,
Well, I mean, essentially, when we get down to it, all justice is social justice. That's what justice is about. Is maintaining the social order. You know.
yeah. Well, the way the Stoics defined it basically would mean treating every person you meet with what is their due.
Yeah.
And that I think Marcus Aurelius and Cicero and Seneca all included social aspects of that. Like we should have a society that treats people justly. Otherwise, there's no point.
That's why I don't speak to the security guard that we have at my apartment complex at night. I don't speak to him. I don't even look at him because if I did, I literally. So I mean, this is something I attribute to autism. I used to not really understand why I was like this, and it would get me in a lot of trouble before I understood I was autistic. Is like, if I don't like you, you can tell. Like I simply cannot speak to somebody. Maybe if I have to, like for like a couple of seconds, like in passing, if I need to talk to somebody I really don't like really, really don't like. But other than that, it's gonna come through pretty quick. That I don't fucking like you, and I don't want to be near you. That kind of thing. And so like this guy, he's a transphobe who has I've had to walk with, not that I'm complaining or anything, but I've had to walk with my trans man neighbor who has he actually was defending a older like a really old trans woman that we got in our building upstairs. I've only seen her a couple times, but like apparently he was misgendering her and dead naming her. And then this dude that lives a few doors down from me was like, "Hey man, don't do that." And the dude got all uppity about it and shit, and was like, "Well, you gonna try and cancel me?" It's like, okay, I know what fucking podcast this guy watches or listens to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I had to, I went up there and I got it on video. I should probably fucking just show that shit sometime. Maybe I will Friday or something. But like, yeah, this guy. I actually think I will. Fuck it. Why would I not? People put that kind of stuff on the internet all the time. I don't have to say his name or anything. But anyway, yeah, and it's just so whenever he's in there, I've literally never spoken to him past the conversation that I had in the video clips that I'll show. Maybe I'll show him later if we don't have anything else going on. But like, literally walked up there and was like trying to, not being impartial, but like, I understand if homeboy neighbor went in there a little pissed off, and I was trying to go in there not pissed off and just like see if maybe I could bridge whatever gap. No, dude was like completely unwilling to. Like he's sitting there just staring at me when I'm like, do you understand? Like, no, people don't feel safe if you're not willing to give them the basic respect of who they are. You know what I mean? And he's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I understand, like that. And it's like very clear that he's just kind of saying that because he doesn't want to lose his job. Essentially, that's really what he was worried about. And
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, that kind
Speaking of giving people what is their due,
yeah. What are we doing?
Chat, I was going to ask chat, how is our sound? Because I know we've been having issues with that. And apparently I can hear you just fine, but apparently they are having trouble hearing you.
God damn it. Okay. I don't know.
I wish that StreamYard gave us a feature where we could plug something in and hear ourselves the way that the output is presenting us, but it doesn't. So we rely on you guys in chat to let us know.
Right. How do I sound? Am I loud as fuck now? I hope so. I hope I'm loud. Am I loud?
You sound louder to me, and you sounded fine before. So if you're louder to me, I think you're probably louder to everyone else. And it is true. Big Fieldy, Dane is softer than me. That is simply a fact of the universe.
I mean, yeah, probably. Like physically, almost certainly, yeah. To the touch, yeah. I'm like, whenever you poke my belly. So, Anyway. Hey, that was a new song of mine at the beginning there. If anybody heard that playing, it's just about complete. I got to do another couple of passes on the vocal mix, but like, otherwise, it's a new song. Holy shit, man! It's not still low. Come the fuck on, dude.
Like, okay, chat.
I don't know what to say, man. Like,
I heard a distinct increase in Dane's volume after he went to fix it. If y'all didn't hear that, I don't think the problem is with Dane and his setup, because I heard a change in volume.
Put the microphone in my mouth if I have to. How about this?
That's to me, that's very loud. Maybe to them it'll sound fine.
Can you hear me? Okay.
We'll just sit very, very close to our mics. Maybe we'll do an ASMR podcast.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing great. So anyway,
Yeah, let's put a little bit of vocal fry in there and get everybody.
That's vocal fry. I was like this, like that,
Yeah,
right?
get a little up talk in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Like that summer that I did phone sex for extra money.
What?
Wait,
what?
no, I'm totally kidding. Is that a thing? Does that still exist? Phone sex operators, do they still do that, or is it all just internet now? It's like cam models kind of took
I
that,
think
right? Like,
I think with cam models that I would be shocked if it still exists in any widespread manner. It might be like a boutique thing now, like record stores and stuff. There's like boutique sex calls
yeah.
because the technology has made it obsolete. So it's only the hipsters who call.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe people who with vision disabilities, visual, might
Yeah,
still exist for them. Hopefully they got
yeah.
something. You know what I'm saying? I don't want them to be left out from the
But
Goon
see,
Fest.
cam girl or cam people, I know that it's not just women who do it, could do that for people with visual impairment as well. They do have an audio component of their
That's
stuff.
true. That's true. That's true. So, man, well, I mean, yeah. At the same time, you know what? That would get into a whole different conversation. But yeah. Well, it's not the goddamn Fapcast or something. Okay. Um, no. By the way, welcome everybody. To On Your Left. This is our Sunday podcast where we do discussions of things. And this time we're going to be talking about, probably a couple other things, but first and foremost, I suppose we'll get to the topics at hand, which is the Natalie Harp situation and the Dean Withers situations. If you're not aware of either one of those or one of those, then don't worry, we'll fill you in. They're basically the same thing. What? For those of you that know what both of them are, you might be like, well, how does that even fucking make any sense? Well, we're going to tell you, we're going to feed you, baby birds. We're going to feed you. First of all, let's get caught up on what we're talking about here. By the way, Bob of the Old Ways, is your new video out yet? Or
I dropped a new video last week on my side channel, Armchair Black Belt. It's called Kung Fu versus Masculinity. And it is a look at a little film from 1980 called Clan of the White Lotus, put out by Shaw Brothers. I know that's probably Greek to a lot of people listening to this, but it's a Kung Fu movie put out in 1980 where the premise is that the hero has to embrace his feminine side in order to defeat the villain, which is kind of the opposite of most Kung Fu movies. So he has to become softer and more genteel to win. And so I just look at that movie and review it a little bit and explore some of the philosophy that it makes you think about.
Big Fieldy,
Thank you, Big Fieldy. Thank you.
I've seen it too. I didn't know if you had another one coming or something, but yeah.
No, I'm falling into this pattern where I put out a video and then I make shorts out of like 2 to 3 shorts out of segments of that video and then drop those for the next week or two after that video. Because shorts are like little engagement candies for the channel. It's pretty interesting.
We might all see a little bit of a boom in our views coming down the pike based on some changes YouTube is making that could be beneficial to some in some ways, but definitely not in some other ways because I don't know that they've ever made any that are really great for creators. But so apparently they're doing a thing now where like essentially prior to now, if somebody clicked on my video, which would happen a lot, some chud would click on my video of mine that's talking about their favorite parasocial daddy on YouTube or whatever. And they would watch like 30 seconds of it and then comment something shitty and then leave. That does not count as a view, right? You have to watch a certain portion for it to count as a view.
I think you had to watch originally. I think it was, or not originally, but recently, I think it was you had to watch 10 to 30 seconds. I think for it to count. Yeah.
But now it's just if you just click on it, even just hovering over it and it auto playing in the recommended feed is going to count as a view. And on one hand, I mean, I know there's people that are pissed off about this, and I understand that. But on the one thing I haven't seen represented is that does make sense to me because it's not like it's a view that it's not counting an entire video view. You know what I mean? But it wasn't doing that before. Whenever it was somebody that just watched a minute of the video either. But
yeah.
What it is somebody is aware of your existence and aware of your brand and aware of this video existing, and that is a way to describe a view. Someone has viewed it, right? Now that's supposed to bump up the numbers on smaller channels that maybe or other channels too that want to get brand deals, and there's just problems with that because then you get a brand deal based on these numbers that aren't really about your engagement or anything like that, and you're gonna eventually let that brand down probably. before too long. So you know, if it's a bad move, like I'm kind of guessing it's probably gonna be revealed within a couple of months, and they'll probably
Yeah,
do something to change it. So
they're testing out a way to make money for themselves, more or less.
yeah, definitely.
I'm still trying to figure out what the difference between impressions and views is.
An impression is someone that basically what I just described. Someone knowing that your video exists.
Okay.
So they
So
saw it,
basically, they're making impressions into views, more or less.
kind of, yeah.
Okay. Because I turn off the autoplay feature. I find it really fucking annoying. Like both the autoplay feature and the whatever they call the feature where something starts autoplaying when you hover over it or look at it.
Yeah.
I turned that off on my
Actually, like
YouTube.
that. I like that a lot. Because sometimes I don't want to, you know, just like commit to clicking on a video, so I'll just kind of like hover over the thing and see. I don't know what, you know, like if there's something that I'm like, I know this, I'm not going to watch this whole video, but I want to get the information that's at the
Mhm.
beginning. Do they show it at the beginning? That's a good way to find out. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't mind the feature. I just hate the fact that it's automated. I know it's probably a hassle for them to come up with a way to make that usable but also optional.
they're not. That's not changing anything. It's just all they're doing is adding to what counts as a view, because that way they can say to, like, first of all, creators can say to, whenever we get a brand deal, like if somebody is promoting something in their on their videos, they have had to show, or the some brand has looked at and seen that their metrics have this many views generally per month, this many impressions, this many engagements, and what their click through rate is. That's really the most important one. The click through rate is the how many people see your video existing on YouTube and then click on that motherfucker and watch it. The click through rate's a big one, but I mean, generally views help too. So like basically, what this is going to do is allow, you know, theoretically allow some creators to go, look, my views are up. I'm gonna get way more views than I used to, or whatever. And then, you know, that might be good for a moment, but then yeah, I honestly don't know what they're thinking. They're saying that it's about the fact that long form videos have become far more common now, which is true. Everybody can see that. Long form videos are just, for whatever reason, I guess everybody's just bored. I don't know. Have
Well,
become the thing.
people treat YouTube like television now.
Yeah.
They it's for a lot of people it's actually on their television and they just find something to run in the background while they're like working on other stuff. And a long video lets them put something on that they don't have to change every 15 minutes or so.
That's appreciated, man. Um, you know, would really help is if you had if you woke up every hour or so and made sure to like all those videos while you're sleeping.
I mean,
Or
if
during the
you're
night,
falling
you know.
asleep to us, that is not the way to disincentivize us from doing an ASMR podcast.
No, but engagement, by the way, is very, very beneficial. So if you're not liking, hey, go ahead and like this stream right now. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you want to join the channel as a channel member, you can do so with the link in the description, or the other link in the description takes you over to the Patreon, which had been changed to be called the Modern Audience. Then I went to change it to On Your Left. That's already taken. So now it's just Actual Fandom again. That's easier for me to remember. I haven't changed the channel handle either. So that's still Actual Fandom.
On your left was taken on Patreon?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you investigate who they are?
I did not. No. I mean, I'm not going to fight him or something, you know. So like, no, I didn't. It might not be a YouTuber at all or something. Who knows? I was surprised that it let me take Actual Fandom back because it hasn't been that in a couple of months, and apparently nobody wanted it. So, speaking of YouTube engagements and stuff like that, Dean Withers, if you're not aware, is a content creator. I'm not sure what his probably TikTok, if I'm guessing, his primary platform. Where all I've ever seen of him really is just clips from TikTok, clips or whatever the fuck they're called, on YouTube Shorts, because that's the only thing that I watch those long form videos on. I'll every once in a while click over there and scroll for a little bit until it gives me some bullshit, and then I'm like, I'm out. But Dean Withers is, from what I've seen, a pretty competent, I think liberal to progressive liberal. I'm not certain, but I think that's about it. Creator who debates MAGA people pretty much exclusively, and he's real smug about it. And I'm not saying that as a negative thing. That sometimes they just need that. And he you know, done all right for himself. It seems like. And I'd never been subscribed to him or anything like that. Never sought his stuff out at all. But there have been some accusations against Dean recently. I'm sure some of you are aware of it. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me know in chat who here has heard of the Dean Withers accusations, and who here is like, fuck this guy, I can't believe he did that, you know, amount or
Well,
whatever.
first of all, who's heard of Dean Withers? Because
Well,
I barely knew who the guy was.
Whenever I went to type it in to look for I was looking for Dean Winters because I was I was like trying to find a photo. I was like, that's not. It's the guy. I guess the guy from the insurance commercials, the disaster guy or whatever. I guess that's his name, maybe.
Oh, the guy who plays Mayhem.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I did not know that was his
A bunch
name.
of his images came up, and I was like, that's not who I'm looking for.
But yeah, chat. Let us know if you know who Dean Withers is and whether you've heard the accusations or not.
Yeah. Please. I'm curious who's aware of this and how much of the follow up you've gotten. But
this story is wild. It is. It's going to be used in so many interesting and horrible ways beyond just him that we can talk about once we get to the.
That's the guy.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, it is that guy. I never knew his name was Dean Winters. I don't know what I thought his name
no idea
was.
either. I really didn't know, but apparently it is. All right, well, let's check out this. This is actually his video responding to the accusations. The accusations being that, and there are 2 channels that go by on your left. Oh man. All right. Well, that's okay. We're the better one, probably. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they're awesome. I don't know. All right. So, he was accused by someone on, I think Instagram was the main thing they were on, posting, text posts on images saying, giving fairly detailed accounts of having met him whenever they were like younger, and he was a little bit younger, and they apparently forced himself on them or something like that. But yeah, the debate dork, right? Look, I'm not saying anything in favor of this guy. I'm not saying he's terrific. I'm not saying he's got good politics. I'm not saying that he's even good at debating. I might just seen clips that he farmed for himself, and that's fine. I will say that I stand with him on this.
Most serious video I've ever made. A Trump supporter stole the identity of an innocent 13-year-old girl to falsely accuse me of rape with supporting evidence of poorly botched fake DMs in an attempt to illegitimately...
Dean, because I know you're watching this, man. Poorly botched means they did a good job, I think. Right? If something is poorly botched? I'm sure he misspoke there. They were poorly edited, but they were botched. Saying poorly botched is kind of counter to itself. But yeah, so just to tell you what happened, and I saw this through a YouTuber called Slyboy, who I've been watching for several months now. I haven't mentioned him or anything, but like he's generally his whole niche is covering internet predators, and so he's covered lots of people, but this is one where he said that he felt he had to do this because he looked into it, as everybody starts sending him emails saying, hey, have you looked into this, blah blah. And he looked into it, and yeah, after watching this video, I was like, I gotta look for myself and see this stuff, but like based on what he showed me, and that's a good idea, by the way. Don't just believe everything that's in a YouTube video and then just like, oh, I'm done. You should probably seek out the information yourself just to double check it. But yeah, this was the pictures that were used on this Instagram account that were supposed to be the pictures of the girl that made the accusations were actually stolen from this 13-year-old girl's Instagram. And that girl has made a video addressing the incident and saying that this didn't happen. These were stolen from my account. And then there's other things like in the testimonials themselves. There's one part that says that like I trusted him more than anybody, and I can't believe he did this. And there's another part that says he was a complete stranger, and little things like that. Just red flags really to the veracity of accusation like that. It doesn't mean that it won't 100% of the time something like that isn't going to be true, but it's along with the photos being literally stolen, which is provable. They're obviously timestamped and uploaded on another person's account and have been there the whole time. And then also whenever that girl came out and said these are my photos that were stolen, that account then got rid of those photos. So that's kind of But
Yeah. And I'm sure she's been subject to a lot of harassment herself now too.
That's what he says.
I mean,
here, so, and yeah,
as a
like, basically,
13-year-old girl, she probably already was, but
right.
I'm sure it's gotten worse.
She's gotten, and they're, we'll let him explain the rest and then get to the other thing.
Deplatform me. In response, the 13-year-old whose identity was stolen made a video calling out the false accuser and anybody peddling these lies using her photos, stating that she's been getting harassed and bombarded with messages. An innocent 13-year-old girl. As we speak, not all, but millions of Republicans across the internet have continued to knowingly peddle this false allegation and could what only be described as an attempt to get me killed or to get me to myself, leading to the police calling me, informing me of a bomb threat, and the continued visceral harassment of the innocent little girl who had her identity stolen. Let's unpack this. First and foremost, this TikTok account, under the name of Emily, accused me of rape. They posted this fake DM to prove their allegation. The account posted 2 screenshots of the same faked DMs, for the purpose being that in the second screenshot, they're scrolled further down the page to also include my response. We know that they're fake because in the first screenshot above their message, there is an included date and time. In the second screenshot above that same message, there is not an included date and time. The only explanation for this inconsistency is that the screenshots are fake. The account also claimed to be a young girl posting many photos such as these to make their allegations seem more believable. This girl is not accusing me of rape. She had her identity stolen by this account. She made a video to clear this up.
So tonight, I was looking through my TikTok comments and I find some comments saying that someone's impersonating me and using my photos to accuse someone Dean Withers of sexual assault. This was the picture someone put in my TikTok comments, and this was the picture I posted on Instagram. Same with here, this was posted in July, and now I find this 4 days ago on TikTok. On this photo, you can see there's a little scribble at the top of the screen. This is because, as you can see in the next photo, that's where the lyrics were in my Instagram photo. After finding out about this, I made a video tagging her saying that it's not me, and she ended up blocking my main account. I'm now getting multiple DMs and comments about this whole situation, and I wanted to make this to let you guys know that I'm not involved in any of this, and I didn't make any of these videos.
Even in light of the fact that this allegation is obviously fake, not only hurting me as the victim of them, but also the innocent little girl whose identity was stolen to make them, many Trump supporters haven't cared. MAGA influencers like the older millennial Asmongold and thousands of others have continued to peddle these false allegations across social media so hard to the point that for the last 48 hours straight, this has been a top news story on Twitter, amassing over 50,000 posts of mostly Republicans calling me a rapist. For those, some even on the right, that have made videos condemning these false allegations, thank you. You know who you are.
Yeah. So there's that. And then
So let's talk about how this is going to be spun on the right, or how I think it's going to be spun, since they obviously got busted faking this. I think their narrative is going to be, look how easy it is to create fake allegations.
There's going to be some of it. I think the thing is that the damage is done. This almost certainly has resulted in some number of people, unfollowing Dean and not, trusting him or whatever. There's some pretty people that are, in some cases, understandably reactive to accusations like this, perhaps because they've, had stuff happen to themselves and they just don't even want to waste a minute on it. And I think that's more than anything, the point was to discredit him and to get, which is why, by the way, now I am subscribed to Dean. And I will, whenever I get a chance, check out some of his stuff because, yeah, if they're trying to get rid of him to this degree, it kind of says something. Believe me, I've had not these kind of accusations, but I have some weird stuff said about me in order to try and discredit me. And I take that as a compliment. They don't waste the kind of time. They don't waste their energy and their time on something like that unless it's somebody that they, feel like, oh, this guy's fucking up our whole narrative.
Yeah. Well, I would say that for me, the threshold in this case was, if I heard about all of this all at once, so I've got the benefit of hindsight here. But if I had been hearing about this step by step, the threshold for me would have been the little girl putting out the video, proving that this was all fake. Because before that, it could have been him manipulating the evidence.
Yes.
And I would have been inclined to believe this if I had only heard about it step by step, because statistically speaking, it is more likely to be true, far more likely to be true than it is to be fake. If you just go by standard crime reporting statistics, which are unreliable anyway,
Well, I mean,
people are.
that brings up you're right, because but except that now we're not talking about a crime being reported, we're talking about an accusation on the internet.
I know, I'm not. We're not. I'm not talking about crime in the sense of someone being prosecuted. I'm just saying if you look at the research that's been done on this subject,
Yes.
which is under the umbrella of crime research, people who are accused of sexual assault, whether they get convicted or not, or people are only falsely accused of sexual assault between 2% and 10% of the time, which is no higher than any other crime being falsely accused. So whenever you hear someone being accused of something like this, statistically, it's more likely to be true. And you should therefore, since you're not on a jury, you're just some person, you should be inclined to believe the accuser until sufficient evidence has been supplied to you to prove that they didn't do it.
Yeah. I mean, this is also right. I mean, there's, obviously they're, believe it or not, they're not actually a monolith over there on the right. They're going to do all these things. They're going to use this to whatever advantage they can. So they're going to double down. They're already doing that. They're ignoring the evidence to the contrary, because even if it doesn't convince somebody not to trust Dean or whatever, whenever he's saying something that is true, like criticism about Trump or whatever, it will just be the thing they say to dismiss him. The same way that Bob Chaos, anytime he says something about Mahler, they'll be like, oh, didn't you go into watching his video looking for him to be racist? Like literally every single fucking time somebody says that shit. And it's like, once these people have a thing in their mind that they identify you with as a negative, that's all they're gonna do. They're just gonna throw that at you every single time. And whether or not it's true, it doesn't matter. That's kind of the point of what the ultimate thing I want to get to here with these two stories. Is well, yeah, I'll get there, but
yeah, there's a question in chat that I want to address, because Big Fieldy is not an American, so he obviously has an imperfect understanding of the world. In the United States, generally speaking, it is not illegal to do this because we have a very robust First Amendment tradition. So if you are someone who is a public figure, which Dean Withers is, and just being a public figure, it is extremely hard to prove libel or slander, because you are a public figure and therefore lying about you is free speech. You have to be able to,
because it protects satire and parody. Like we can, somebody can make an account about Dean Withers and say that, oh, I'm Dean Withers the rapist, and like. But like, even if it's not even before we get to the legality of it, we're talking about terms of service of these platforms, which are owned by who? Kind of pretty much down to the letter. Every one of them is somebody that's trying to actively appeal to the Trump administration. Has been.
They're all owned by canceled billionaires. So,
yeah. So you're trying to get them to single out this one incident and focus on it, and putting resources into it at all is just, especially whenever the person almost certainly created an account without their real information behind it. So like. Anyway.
So yeah, even in the United States, Big Fieldy, even making something is not true is legally protected in almost every case.
That's how Fox News exists.
Yeah. Because they have Fox News used this outlet when they were sued. Every time they have been sued for lying, their legal defense is, well, we're not a news agency anyway, and anyone who thinks we're a news agency is obviously an idiot. We are an entertainment outlet.
They said that about themselves, and then whenever Tucker Carlson was, part of it because he, spread election lies, they're basically like, but who would take Tucker Carlson seriously,
Yeah, it's really funny that their legal defense is always no reasonable person would believe any of this is true anyway.
Right.
That's their argument in court. Yeah,
that's legally true and factually true. Anyway, but anyways, what's happening over here? We're just talking about some bullshit. So there's that. Okay, point number one, set that aside. Keep it in mind though. Point number two, Natalie Harp. Here is Natalie Harp and some information about her.
Mother Preston Harp was interviewed by.
Well, that's not the one I meant to. Okay, so Natalie Harp is the aide to Donald Trump. She has been for a few years now. She is at his side all the time. She's called amongst the administration. She's called the human printer because she prints off things from the internet to show to Trump because he doesn't really apparently scroll or anything like that or look at the internet himself. So she's just who is trusted to print things from the internet. This is the most boomer shit ever. And then he will look through the printed images.
What a lame nickname. Obviously, Trump did not come up with that one.
Right. No, I'm sure
That dude.
Call her the human something else if she can.
Yeah. Say what you will about that guy. He's got good insult game.
He used to, not anymore.
Yeah.
Now his brain's rotten. He called what Democrats, and he won't get off it either. He keeps saying that. It's like, come on, dude. Anyway, so she is probably more powerful than we want to admit in a weird way. Hopefully we can hope that she's actually as loyal to him as she apparently is based on some letters and things like that. Because if so, then she's just giving him the stuff that he would want to see anyway, maybe. And hopefully she's not doing anything devious in all that. But she is 33 years old. She is former anchor on one of even more trusted, even more newsy than Fox News, One American News, OAN. She was an anchor on that. Before that, she was she did a speech at Trump's. I guess I don't remember what it was. She gave a speech at several years ago, where she had survived bone cancer, which is one of the things at play in the response to this thing. Survived bone cancer, as she says, because Trump did the whole right to try act or whatever. Now there is counter information that says that actually she would have been able to take whatever medicine she got anyway. I mean, it's good that she survived. Good for her. Glad. But apparently he didn't actually have anything to do with it. But she still believes he owes she owes him her life, and so she is up his ass all the time. Now there are reports that allegedly Trump is post-sex, which is honestly a good thing for the world if that's the case. But even still, it's not even the point. The point
is that a new sexual orientation that just dropped? Post-sexual?
I mean, I think it just means too old and fucking.
Oh, too old to fuck. Okay.
But yeah, so Jon Ossoff, if you're not aware of him, he's a pretty dashing young man who is a senator of Georgia, and he most likely is going to run for president in 2028. He's saying no right now, but because he has to. Nonetheless, he made a comment. I wish I would have grabbed that. Because the shit he says is pretty dope. Let me find it actually. So, yeah, here we go. He was speaking at a rally, which he does very well. Some people say he's doing an Obama impression. I think that he's doing, in the sense that if you go back to the 1920s or 30s, all of the guys talked the same whenever they would get up on the on the pulpit and shit. You know what I mean? Like blah, 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 blah. That was just the way to communicate to the masses.
It's called the Mid-Atlantic accent, I think it was called.
Okay.
Well, I think
this is, I guess, the Obama or whatever. Like all it is just somebody who speaks, not slowly but very methodically and with pointed, gravitas, I suppose. And I guess they just whenever somebody does that now, they think it's just an Obama. I don't know. I don't see it that way, but he has also been working out because I saw some clips of him from a few years ago. Dude's been lifting for sure. I don't have a crush on him. Shut up.
I believe everyone should lift, so I'm glad to see if that's true. If he's lifting,
sailors on the Lincoln fight his war.
But by the way, if you haven't heard about that, that's fucked up. The USS Abraham Lincoln. I think they might be relieved maybe now at this point, but they've been on the water for like 320 something days. And had not been replenished with the basic goods of soap and stuff like that. And they were not doing so hot. And the only reason that anybody knew about it is because one of the sailors' girlfriends or wives or something heard about it from a cell phone call. And essentially the Trump administration was trying to keep that under wraps for obvious reasons. But
regular hygiene and mental health breaks and visiting time with your family is all woke shit. It's not part of the warrior ethos. So those troops are just a bunch of pussies, I guess. They should be out there weathering scurvy like the men of old used to do.
He did say this, I know. So you're right, Grant. That is very, very fucking dumb. The projection with that is incredible. Anyways, here he is. Let's listen to make sure to pay attention to everything he says. Aside from mentioning Natalie's name, which he says just her first name too.
While he fruitlessly drains our munitions and oil reserves, the president sleeps through his meetings. He golfs and trades stocks. See, he doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the Emir of Qatar.
That's it. He didn't go on from there to talk about Natalie Harp or anything. He didn't even say her last name there, right? And yet, the MAGA sphere exploded in their outrage. How they get outraged so easily, except not real outrage, definitely fake outrage. Everything from, oh, I thought you were for women's empowerment, and oh, how dare you talk about her? She's not a public figure. She is a public figure. Technically, she works for the administration. That's as much as a public figure as you need to be talked about. We should know who works directly around the president. We should have those names and should know who those people are. And then, and then the more extreme ones of like, essentially saying that the funny ones are the ones that are like, how dare you say that he's banging this girl all day long instead of doing his job? And it's like, he didn't say anything about sex.
Yeah.
But you've got some of the biggest MAGA, influencers out there basically saying that gave away the game by saying that people did say that, or he did say that. He didn't. Nonetheless, both of these things are related. How? Not directly at all. So sorry if that's what you're expecting. We don't have that kind of drama here. Not today. But they are directly related, and I want the lesson to be taken from this that just stop letting them get you, man. Stop letting them fucking, I'm sure many of you don't anymore, but like if you are still getting wrapped up in their narratives and you're still getting wrapped up in, and you're not like fact checking things and like going to the source and seeing what was actually said and stuff like that, investigating further, then just don't waste your time on it, because we are in the home stretch here before the midterms, and we're going to need everybody focused up and check and make sure you're fucking registered to vote. Find how you can vote, where the place you're going to be voting is. Like, you need to plan this shit as if you're going to the concert for the band that you've never seen, and they broke up years ago, but now they're getting back together, and you can't believe it. You need to fucking plan like you're going to that. Yeah, that's all that we really need to focus on. And yeah, they're gonna be spinning some crazy shit at us the next few months, for sure. But the crux of it is that these are two situations that involve women. Of course, one of them is actually a 13-year-old girl that's not involved, but they use the optics of the morality, posturing of caring about women at all, to go after Dean Withers, and cancel him and shit. Thankfully, the truth seems to be going out on that. Haven't really seen anybody that believes it. In this case, they're just like, throwing up feminist, the aesthetics of feminism, the gestures of feminism. Well, I thought, what about women's empowerment, stuff like that? And it's like, they don't fucking give a shit about women. They hate women. They fucking hate them. They don't want them to do anything except be baby machines and maybe make a sandwich. That's literally it. I mean, I know it sounds cartoonish, but that's what most of them would be very happy with if that was like the legally prescribed role for women in society.
I mean, they're openly talking about repealing the 19th Amendment to take the voting away from women. So it sounds cartoonish to people who are reasonable, but they're explicit about exactly that. They think women should just be baby making machines. That's it.
Yep. I mean, going back to that clip that I showed at the beginning, I don't know if you, I'm sure there's a few more people here than there were. Let's watch the first part of this. This guy is what they think. This is a representative of
conversation. I haven't attacked your personal life once. I haven't attacked you as a man. I haven't said that you're not man enough, but
at the same time,
you're sitting here questioning my femininity. So between me and you, who's more stoic right now?
I think it's me.
Okay. Whatever you want to tell yourself, boss.
Okay.
Should we move on to feminism?
Yeah, let's move on to feminism.
Okay.
You believe it's the single most destructive force in modern society, feminism.
I think that feminism definitely ruined part of society.
Okay, so do you back off from your original prompt? Do you want to, if you want to update that, that's totally fine. I just want to know where you're at.
It's very, very destructive for modern society, yes.
So
well, let's talk about feminism.
Sure.
One of my biggest problems is that there is a woman sitting in front of me right now where she's married and possibly have children at home, but she flew out to do a podcast.
This guy's too dumb to know the difference between what he doesn't like and why he doesn't like it. Like all he's doing is just saying what he doesn't like, and then she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "Oh, it's not good because you should be at home with the kids or whatever." And it's like, okay, that's not something that is And then she brings up how men are gone a lot, and for all like, and if the appeal is to the well-being of children, she's probably making a little bit scratch doing this, a little bit of cheddar. I've seen her around quite a bit, so I imagine that's equaling some dollars for her. Right. So if she does have any kids or whatever, then they're well off. They're doing better because she's doing this as a job. Um, plus the sky's the limit with this kind of thing. Maybe she ends up getting a job with some media company or something, and then it's like it's there's no logical reason behind it, and there doesn't have to be. There doesn't have to be any logical reason why they decide to cancel Dean Withers, except that he says things that are inconvenient to their narrative. It's fucking pathetic. I'm really just sick of it, and I really hope that we are about to turn the corner in society. I really hope that we are at a point where, like, if we just keep pushing through, then we're gonna be on the other side, and this kind of thing will be, will once again be seen as not socially advisable, not even socially accepted in general. Except now we'll actually know how many people are more likely to hold these views, whereas we didn't really before, to our detriment. So
Hmm. What I find interesting about the prompt in that clip is I would have asked him what he thinks is worth saving about society, right? Because it's not, to say something is destructive to society is not dispositive of it being a good thing. If we live in an oppressive society, parts of it should be destroyed so that people can be liberated.
yeah, what if it destroys crime? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's yeah. There's a million ways you could go with that, honestly, because he's just such an idiot, clearly, and only there to just say what he thinks, and then
Like, I don't even know who this guy is. I haven't seen him around anywhere. I've seen her around. She goes by Not So Erudite, which is funny because every podcast she goes on, they call her stupid. And she's like, well, my name is Not So Erudite. And they don't get it. They don't get the fucking joke.
um. So I don't know who he is. You don't care. I mean, I don't care for him either, based on this. That's all I've seen, though.
Wait, are you referring to Dean Withers or to the guy we just watched?
Are you talking about Dean Withers?
I think he's talking about Dean Withers. I knew that Dean Withers did do the morning Charlie Kirk thing.
Look, from what I saw of that, it was a general like realization. It's this is a real shit thing. Like, and his job is not too dissimilar from. Well, it is pretty. When you really get down into it, it's very dissimilar from what Charlie Kirk did. But ultimately, being somebody, I mean, even Hassan Piker had a moment of like, holy shit. He didn't cry. He didn't fucking like say, "Oh, I'm so sad" or anything. But there was a moment. There's a gravity to that moment. If you can't recognize that, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, I'll say I don't believe Charlie Kirk should be dead, but I'm not upset that he is.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know what Dean Withers. I've been told that Dean Withers mourned Charlie Kirk, but I don't know what he actually said publicly. If all he said was Charlie Kirk should not be dead or words to that effect, that is not mourning Charlie Kirk. That is just making a statement of principle that murder is wrong.
Like he had, I don't know how much that he cried or had tears in his eyes or what it was, but oh, so he posted a video crying, thinking about Charlie's daughter witnessing her father being shot. That's a pretty specific thing, man. That's not mourning Charlie Kirk as much as just like, imagine that's fucking horrible that a little girl was right there, or his whole family essentially was right there when he died.
I had the same thought. I didn't cry over it, but my first thought was, oh God, I hope his kids weren't there.
Oh, actually, apparently they were not there because he posted an update saying that the BBC had retracted that official reporting. That they were there, and he even clarified, I'm not mourning for him. So yeah, and then you see a bunch of Reggie. I think kind of fell for some stuff here, and then people saying that like just a bunch of people taking advantage of the situation. Almost certainly people on the right saying, he broke down in tears. Of all people, he's mourning the death of Charlie Kirk. It says a lot, and I think this is almost certainly a right winger I'm looking at. uh, yeah, and then people saying, the more appropriate thing, which is uh, his empathy is for someone that he clearly despised and spent years debating should be the way that we all respond to it. And that's yeah. So I mean, I don't think that if you're just taking it based on somebody else saying Gene Withers cried more for Charlie Kirk, that's a really reductive way to look at it. And you know, now there's probably some stuff that he has done or said that I just don't agree with. From the vibe I get, that he's just kind of more lib than anything else. But oh wait, here's actually uh, a Facebook post that literally says, "I lost respect for Dean after he cried over Charlie Kirk." Did you copy this, Reggie? Just I immediately stopped listening to anything he had to say, and when I saw him cry after Charlie was killed, he's a plant. I don't trust him. Come on, man. He's a plant because he. Anyway, point being that these guys, the MAGA generally, they are dishonest to the degree that, like, you have to develop a lens of, like, run everything that you hear through that, because normal, honest people who don't go out of their way to lie all the time and have, even politically, like, lie to gain, favor or anything like that, and are just out here in the trenches saying what we believe and stuff like that. Like, it's hard for us to remember all the time that essentially these people will just lie to themselves first and foremost, and then to everybody else after that. And so it's easy to kind of let that slide, and something goes by and you're like, oh no, let them catch you. Like whenever they're saying about the Dean Withers thing, they're saying, what about believe all women, as if they think that, when they don't. And it's like, no, we do believe all women. We listen to them, we believe what they're saying, and then we can look at the situation, and if the facts clearly counter this, they should be happy about this. You know what I mean? But like, they don't even want that. Like, they don't want women to be listened to at all. They don't want us to catch it's the same thing with, like, the children that get harmed all the time because they are out here cynically using, save the children and stuff like that to, push their bullshit. And it's like, they don't actually give a fuck about any of this stuff. It's all just strategy to them. It's all just tools and shit.
Yeah.
But
So Grand Theft Autobot, the guy she's debating is not the guy who could not open a pickle jar. That guy is Andrew Wilson, who I have at least heard of. This dude, I don't even know his name. I have no idea who this guy is. Never seen him before. I've seen her before a lot. I dig her vibe, but no idea who this guy is. I presume he probably can open a pickle jar because he looks like he picks things up and puts them down a lot.
that's not the one. That's not him. That's actually Andrew Wilson, who
Yeah.
at least can perform having an intellectual argument, even though he doesn't actually have one.
But he actually can't, not very well. I've watched some of his supposed debates, and it's funny that he's apparently being tapped by TP USA, Turning Points, to teach young people how to debate, and he's fucking awful at it.
Hey, look, I hope he has that job for a long time. I really
Me
do. I'm
too.
glad for him. Look, great. Don't ever fire him, TP USA. You got a good guy there, man. Just fucking keep him on the payroll, doing what he's doing. But yeah, anyways, there's that. Chuds, they're dishonest. Now, Tom, with the weather. He doesn't like to munch greens. Like, he doesn't eat vegetables. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, he's so. Think of the dumbest position you can have on any question, and Andrew Wilson has argued in favor of it. It's except for, I'll give him this. He argues that there was no conspiracy to kill Charlie Kirk, that the evidence points to it being Tyler Robinson. That's who did it. I think I agree with that. I think he's right on that question, but everything else I've seen him argue is like retarded.
I mean,
sorry.
It's cool. I would love to see any evidence. Like, I'm not saying I do believe the official narrative. I don't necessarily. That's the only side. That's the only narrative that I've seen that has any evidence behind it.
Yeah.
And it's not super convincing. There are some holes. There are some weird things going on there. But like, it's crazy how Candace Owens, being as successful as she is, almost in large part because she's been painting this narrative of a conspiracy, has yet to put forth a single bit of evidence. You know, like it's all suggestions and things about like, oh, because I knew him and blah blah blah. And it's just, that being said, that debate was really really stupid. And as I said when I covered it, was just distraction. Neither one of them, she had the right idea. She knew that she didn't have to prove anything. She showed up there and was like, I'm the one being challenged. He's saying that my narrative is false. He's going to need to disprove my narrative. And all he had to disprove her narrative was just repeating that he thinks the official narrative is true. And yet he didn't even know what a lot of the details were of that. So it's just
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
that was his mistake. That's why he's a terrible debater.
$300,000 changed hands because of this bullshit. Like,
yeah. When you want to argue a position, you got to know the facts of the case, right? And it's, I mean, to the extent I've looked at the evidence in the case, like any other normal person who's not on a jury or whatever would in their free time, I think Tyler Robinson probably did it. But I wouldn't go on a debate show to argue that point without knowing anything more than what I've seen.
Well, I thought you said it was a conspiracy, though.
What?
Didn't you say it was a conspiracy?
No.
Oh, I thought you said that you thought that it was a conspiracy. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
right. You're
Andrew
right.
Wilson thinks it was not a conspiracy.
My bad. I was misunderstanding the moment. I was reading something at the same time. Whatever I said a minute ago, I reverse it because I actually do not believe that. Yeah, I think I said that I would love to see evidence from her side, and that's true. I would, if that's true at all. If there's any, like, it's clearly not.
Yeah. What was instructive about that debate is neither of them had evidence for their positions. It was just about who was better at arguing, which turned out to be Candace.
Who's a better media grifter? And like, obviously, Candace Owens is. She's been doing it a long time. She came up doing it. Like, it's essentially the only job she's had after the first one that she didn't do well at, I think. And she's been trained by Prager and then Ben Shapiro, and like two of the best. And she's much smarter than them. So, yeah. She's also very, very stupid still. Like, she's smarter than Dennis Prager and Ben Shapiro, and yet she still can't say some pretty simple words correctly.
I think that was a little. I watched that clip. I think a lot of that is unfair to her. Not to her specifically, but I think it's just unfair because a lot of. I wonder how much of that pronunciation is from AAVE. And how much of it is?
Some of it. Well, I mean, then there's also the old wisdom that if somebody mispronounces a word and like it's something that isn't a common word, then that means that there's somebody that reads a lot but has never said the word aloud, and that's true. I've done that before too. It's just that there were so many words that like seemingly like, come on, that's a lot. There's like 5 minutes clip of words.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to add is that does she just see these words and has never heard them out loud, and also. Lots of people just have idiosyncratic speech patterns.
Sure.
So there are far better things to attack Candace Owens on. It was a funny meme. I agree. It was a funny meme, but I don't think it says anything substantial about her intelligence.
Fair enough. All right. So real quick, let's look at these, because this is the kind of thing that's, this is only an aside. This woman has, I don't know what kind of power she's got. I don't know what you'd call it, but she's hopefully not. I mean, it'd be really cool to find out Natalie Harp is like actually on the left or something. She's doing some shit, but she's not. She's clearly a fucking deranged person.
Have you seen the clip from the Majority Report? The clip from the Majority Report where a photograph of Natalie Harp literally running behind Trump's golf cart just broke Emma Vigeland.
That's since been because since all this has come out, because she's now being kind of pushed aside a little bit, and Melania's being trotted out because they don't want to. Somebody mentioned that before. Like, I feel like you always get conspiracy theories because the idea of a political figure getting killed by essentially a random act of violence makes them feel unremarkable. I mean, I think that's. Damn, come on now. I think that's true in some cases. I think that's definitely what it was with JFK. I think with JFK, that was the moment that kind of cracked the illusion of the idea that a president was basically America's version of a king, and they're untouchable and stuff like that. That was definitely fucked a lot of people up with that, and then but sometimes now it's just like, because it becomes their narratives now get formed and get planted because it's convenient, it's helpful, beneficial to the right generally. I don't think there's many conspiracy theories that are super beneficial to the left at all. I might be wrong there, but stuff like that definitely helps the right in some cases. I don't think it's been helping them with Charlie Kirk. I think it's actually been a big fracture point. You know.
I agree. So what's this video you're looking at
It's
here?
just some letters about from Natalie Harp to Trump or whatever.
Written by President Donald Trump's close aide Natalie Harp are being published in full. The Daily Beast obtained 2 letters written by Harp back in 2023. I'm going to read some of what they say. The first one says, quote, "I never want to bring you anything but joy. I'm sorry I lost my focus. You are all that matters to me. I don't want to ever let you down. Thank you for being my guardian and protector in this life." Another reads, "Please, when I fail, will you tell me? You have the absolute right to cuss me out if need be when I deserve it, because no one knows or cares about me more." Now, I think what's important to
imagine being so foolish you think Trump cares about you.
That's like some Fatal Attraction level shit right there.
And I mean, that's unhealthy. Give to anybody with whoever the target of it is. It's unhealthy. Even if you're the greatest guy in the world, and we're not talking about the greatest guy in the world.
No. How ironic would it be if that's what takes him out? Like, he spurns her and she's like, "No, no one can have you but me." And like,
yeah, like we wake up one morning and there's just like, breaking news all over the place, and it's like as big a news thing as 9/11, and they've essentially Natalie Harp is getting wheeled out of the fucking White House with blood all over her hands and shit. Like, yeah. They're like, "Oh God, oh well, all right, I guess we'll just swear JD Vance in." Great. God damn it.
We'll have to call in Wesley Snipes for this case for murder at 1600.
Yeah. Oh man, what if Vance like mind controls her to do it so that he can? Oh, come on now. Now we're doing some conspiracy theories. Let's have some fun.
Hey, that Resolute couch is really hot. I'm just saying.
The Resolute couch. Jesus. Imagine they dragged her out on a gurney like Hannibal Lecter. Yeah. She's just like screaming about it. Is Donald gonna be? He's gonna meet me there, right? He's gonna be there, right? He's gonna be there. Where is he? I've got to print him out. I got to print out his news. Yeah, she is bro 5 for sure.
About Harp is just how deep the connection between her and Trump runs. I'd remind people that she actually credits Trump with saving her life.
"I was that forgotten person on the side of the road."
She has said that she had suffered from bone cancer, and it was legislation that was signed.
I think she suffered from something else.
By President Donald Trump back in 2018 that allowed her to receive experimental treatments. I should note she has never listed what those treatments are, but she's also someone who is omnipresent in Trump's orbit. She's often with him throughout the day in many of his meetings, and then speaks with him late into the evening about social media posts. She also serves a specific purpose for Trump. She's someone who is a channel for foreign leaders who can reach out to her if they feel like they are unable to get in touch with the president. She's also someone Trump asks often to reach out to people that he watches on television and likes what they are saying. So they have a very deep connection. I will note the White House has said in multiple statements this week that she is a loyal and hardworking aide to
And we're not fucking. I swear we're not fucking. Jesus. Why would you even say that? John jack off. That's what Trump called him one time, John jack off. It's like, come on, man. That's not even good. That's stretching it. Yeah, I mean, look, and I'm hesitant to say that it's a power thing either, because she just kind of seems like she might be a little bit obsessive unwell, I would normally just think, oh, it's definitely a power thing, right? Like Laura Loomer, almost certainly, it's like she just wants to be near that power. But I don't know. At the same time, Trump has a weird effect on people, man. Like I know none of us get it. I don't fucking get it. But there's something like, yeah.
It's I hesitate to use this word, but it's like sorcery or something. Like he's a magician, and
it's a social I mean, it's definitely a symptom of an unhealthy segment of the populace, I believe. And what if using my dad as the test case, which I've always done, there is a prevailing sentiment on the right that the left, or anybody left of them rather, that that we look down on them, that we think they're more smarter than them, that we mock them all the time for how stupid they are and stuff like that. And that's true. We do that. We do all those things generally. It's hard not to look down at them the way that they behave, especially MAGA. But like, I'll be honest, even before MAGA, I was just like, conservatives are so fucking stupid, you know. And I would say, whenever me and my dad got into a discussion, because we used to be able to have some discussion before the MAGA stuff happened, where I would be like, God, that's just, he would tell me the conservative position on, oh shit, oh man, why did my shit? Come on now, you guys there?
We're here. I hear you.
Okay. My shit just blacked out. So
Your video is frozen, but your audio is fine.
it's all blacked out for me on my end. Well, I'll have to fix that in a second. That's okay. But anyway, yeah, and I would make fun of him. So that's fucking stupid. I can't believe you think that, Dad. Like, and so I think that Trump coming along and making politics, because well, here's what I think was happening prior to Trump. I think that they struggled to understand what was happening politically. I think they struggled to get, I'm talking about just this segment of the population that went full MAGA or whatever. And I think this is also why some people who before weren't even that conservative also fell for it, because they were part of this type of person who just didn't, either weren't capable, or in most cases probably didn't apply themselves to try to learn what it is going on. They didn't understand the economy. They didn't understand, geopolitics. They didn't understand the way our fucking government works, any of that stuff. And so they would just kind of like pretend and then get called stupid whenever it would get revealed on a regular basis they didn't fucking understand anything. Then here comes Trump, who essentially is the antithesis of everything, all of that. He doesn't give a shit about the political, saying the right things and putting on the right image. He doesn't give a shit about respecting the norms and stuff like that. He doesn't want to fucking be nice with all of these foreign, heads of state that we don't fucking, I don't care what France thinks about us or anything like that. You know what I mean? He's going to be a fucking dick to. He wants going to be a dick to. It's self-interest, and in that way, they're also, that appeal to them, so that he made them feel like they're part of it for once. They're actually part of it, and they understand what's going on now. Not only do they understand it, they can fucking control it by just saying whatever the fuck they want to say and following whatever he says. And I think that filled an identity vacuum for a lot of people when it came to this stuff. Like, they felt like they were just passengers in life because of, not understanding what the hell was happening, and still being expected to vote and just hoping they were doing the right thing. You know what I mean? And then here's a guy that like literally says, don't worry about all that shit. It doesn't fucking matter. All these departments and all this stuff, all these special interests, fuck all that. None of it matters. If you have this racism in your heart, you've been convinced to not be racist out loud. Fuck that. Be racist out loud. All that shit. That's my take. What do you think?
I think I largely agree with that. I also think a lot of it is that a lot of these folks never paid attention to politics. They're like entertainment voters.
Well, that too. Yeah, I mean that's
and he's like a professional entertainer before anything else. He's a carnival barker, and he's the reality show president. They saw him on reality TV for years, and he was the funny rich guy who was sometimes funny on purpose, but was largely just funny because he was kind of a moron who thinks he's a genius.
Full of his own shit.
And yeah. And so they voted for the celebrity over the wonk, basically. And those type of voters have always been out there. Like a lot of people voted for Obama twice, then voted for Trump 3 times. And I just got a notification that Dane joined the chat, or joined the You there? Okay.
I am now.
Okay. Yeah, it was telling me to add you to the stage, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, I had to do that to fix the thing.
Yeah. But anyway, these are people, a lot of these people voted for Obama twice and then voted for Trump 3 times. And it was based purely on personality. They vote for the guy that seems pretty cool. and that's the extent of their political consciousness. And what Trump did was reveal that there are way more of those people than we thought, and that should make us all very uncomfortable. It's not that they're dumb necessarily. It's not that they're even committed to a right-wing ideology. They just don't give a shit about anything except dopamine hits.
And I'll always go back to this. I made a video on this. It's the first video essay I ever uploaded. It's not watchable now unless you remember, which you can become a channel member by doing the thing. Is my emotional intelligence video, because I spent a lot of time, with my dad being, the primary guy that I would think about, like what makes two people end up on such different, I guess political ideologies. Like what is it that actually makes that happen? It's because it's, at that point I'd recognize that a lot of, if not all of the shit they believe is rooted in myth at least, or misinformation and stuff like that. And so I was just trying to understand what would lead somebody down that path. And what I ultimately came to was that, and this is because I just kind of was at the 4 or 5 year mark of doing my own personal, emotional health regimen of working on myself and stuff. And I'd come across the concept of emotional intelligence and doing that. And I realized that that's like, oh, this is a thing that I desperately need to and want to make better, because I don't have the emotional intelligence that I know I should have, when I started that. And so that's what I intentionally kind of developed. And then I realized that, oh, this is what a lot of people are lacking. And I think that's what would lead somebody to, believe whatever makes them feel good, to, not be interested in paying attention to goings on in the world in the first place, because they're more self-involved than anything. All that stuff, it all kind of stems from a lack of emotional intelligence or emotional maturity, whatever you want to call it, in my mind. And that's just what I'll
Yeah,
stick with.
and also from existential dread. A lot of these people, to put a Marxist analysis on this real quick, because we are poly-Marxists here on this podcast. A lot of these people are experiencing alienation because of the deterioration of their material conditions, and charismatic leaders appeal to the monkey brain, the lizard brain. I don't know what part, the primitive part of the brain, which tells us the strong.
Alienation is a feeling, and that feeling, if you aren't, a lot of them are not even, they don't even realize that's what they feel. Some of them, and even if they do, what Trump fulfills is the political will to harm the people that have been told for decades now are responsible for that alienation. And
they don't even have to be told for decades. They just have to be told someone else.
Well, I'm just saying that the machinery, the media machinery has existed for decades to convince right wingers that all of their problems are caused by so and so and so and so, and it's never the politicians that they are voting for. It's always the politicians that they don't vote for, and then these other people, the people that vote for those politicians that you don't vote for, and that's kind of convenient when you think about it, how they develop that for themselves. And that's where we're at. But anyway,
let me finish. My point was going to be that a lot of this, it won't go away. A lot of these people will still think these things, but a lot of the activity itself can be tamped down by improving their material conditions, like give free, free healthcare, free education, childcare, all that stuff. That is giving people a lot of anxiety. If you address their anxieties through actual improvements, they're going to calm down.
Material conditions having direct effect on political engagement is proven in the COVID situation.
Yeah.
You had a lot of people that suddenly were not working, or were at home a lot more, even if they were working. And that's what you saw a boost in QAnon and that kind of shit, because people were just on the internet looking for some reason. Things were so shitty. Why wasn't our government, all this money we put into it, they're not responding in any kind of way that makes any sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so addressing their material conditions, their daily material lives, with something that actually has an effect in a positive sense, like healthcare. That's gonna take a lot of incentive out of I don't know how many people, but it would be more than a few to get on the internet every day. I mean, if somebody's doesn't have to worry that their mother is getting cancer treatment or needs some kind of treatment and doesn't have the money for it or whatever it is, they're not going to be as generally pissed off as a baseline when they get up in the morning, and they might not get on the fucking internet and just go start saying the shit that chuds say on the internet. They might
Yeah.
actually take their mother to the treatment or something like that.
Yeah. And it's not going to, if we do that, like we establish like a universal health care and all the good things we want, that is not going to fix systemic racism or systemic queerphobia or any of that stuff, but it will take the pressure off of the people who are the working class people who are helping to prop up those systems out of anxiety and fear.
What it would do is it would allow us to address those issues on as themselves, instead of
Yeah.
addressing the reason why we don't have this is because of that would take that narrative off of the table, kind of thing, and we'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, now you just got to look at these biases, these prejudices that you hold. You can't say because they're doing this or whatever if we actually address those material situations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that at the systemic level, we can't alleviate capitalism without, at the exact same time, getting rid of systemic racism. They are the same thing. Capitalism was built on the slave trade, and
Racism
most of its institutions.
Yeah, racism is like the enforcer of capitalism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So leftists who think that we should set aside, like class reductionists, basically, who think we should set aside all the other concerns and address only class, don't understand capitalism very well.
I've actually got a little video clip about this topic because you're going to start seeing a lot of this stuff, especially not so much maybe during the midterms, but prior to the 2028 election, man. I mean, you'll probably see it. You're probably already seeing it actually now. But this stuff starts popping up around election time, especially, and it pisses me the fuck off. The kind of class reductionist, essentially, mostly you could probably describe these people as tankies. It's just it enrages me because, like, to think that, I don't know, man, like, just look at this last year of this Trump administration. If you think that this is anything like any other liberal presidency that has ever existed in the United States history, you're lying. You're just a liar if you think that, or you don't know what you're talking about and you should be dismissed. Either way, you should be dismissed. Your opinion should not be considered. Because and think about now, the people said, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we got to fight, the liberals, if we got to fight. It's like, I think it was Vosh at one point that said, I'd rather fight a weak neoliberal than a fucking fascist. And it's like, yeah, even though Trump he's not a great one, he's not a great fascist, he's really not. His vanity and his need to be liked, and then also his corruption and his lack of actual ideology beyond just capitalism, that is a detriment towards his successful fascist administration. I'll say that. If he had any of those things in his favor, he'd probably doing a lot better job at the fascism part. And I'm not saying he's not going to try and rig the elections. He's definitely trying that, and I think 19 different ways is what I saw an article about. I have to look at that another time. But the fact is that he what was I saying? My Alexa started going off and saying an instruction for my son. So,
well, there's a reason that a lot of the leftist movements like Black Lives Matter and Occupy Wall Street and the water protectors all arose up during liberal democratic administrations.
Because they could. Because right now,
right.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to get to. Because there is no liberal administration or government where people who were protesting got sentenced to decades in prison. And that happened in Texas, and that was their way of showing, this is what we're going to do to you. This is what we'll do. Just so you know, we can do it. It worked here. We'll try it again. And that's just protesting. These protesters that did not know one another, except they all used, I think, WhatsApp or something like that to kind of coordinate on where they were going to be to protest. And that was enough for them to, treat them as if they were part of a literal Antifa organization network. And because one guy shot at a cop that was, and then these other people that were unrelated, they all got decades in prison. The one guy got almost 100 fucking years. You know, I mean, yeah, he did shoot at a cop. I still think it's too much, but like, nonetheless, 50, 40, 30 years, a year, a month in prison for protesting is too much. A day. You know, I mean,
Mhm.
maybe if you break something, I suppose, or you fuck up something, somebody's business, maybe okay, a day, whatever. Like, I'm not going to argue that too much, but yeah, it's
Well,
insane that
I mean, the point of nonviolent um, direct action is to get arrested. That is the point.
there
But
you
the
go. Well,
punishment is way too harsh.
that's true. So yeah, I mean, and so that removes essentially the plan, any kind of organizing in order to be arrested for, you know, nonviolent, because essentially to be arrested for protesting for nonviolent action, you generally assume you're not going to be in there very long. Um, you know, and
Yeah, and the tactic there is to gum up the works of the justice system with um, bullshit like your case. That's the point of it. Like the tactic when it was when it's mass movements like in India under Gandhi or in South Africa, the point is to have the jails be so full and still have people coming that they can't keep arresting people because they have nowhere to put them anymore, and that's to break the system basically. But these people, I don't even think we're trying to do nonviolent disruption of any sort. They were just like handing out flyers and shit.
I think so.
So yeah, yeah. But under the reason anti-electoralists, leftists should vote is because you always want to have the leftmost option in a liberal democracy in power, because then they become, once they're in power, they become the rightmost option. They are the enemy you want to fight. So
Yeah.
voting is about picking your enemies.
And this is why I think that anybody that's making these arguments is either just like far too confident for their really flimsy understanding of things, or just a grifter. So I finally found the clip I was trying to show.
Of the political spectrum you're on, there are always going to be people who are full of shit and don't learn from their mistakes. One of the biggest problems caused by the polarization of politics these days is that people are more concerned with just being right based on practice and not on principle. That is in fact what gave birth to the tankies. Since people keep asking me, tankies is the term that we use to refer to people who claim to be on the far left, and they were the ones who said don't bother voting at all in 2024, or vote for somebody who has no shot in hell like Jill Stein. And those exact same people are coming around again, now in Texas. Since the primaries are all over and it's going to be James Tallarico versus Ken Paxton, they're out there saying, don't vote for James Tallarico, he's a racist. When ironically, Ken Paxton is the most racist, misogynistic, greedy, selfish prick you've ever seen in your life. But James Tallarico has been incredibly inclusive in Texas. One of the reasons the right hates him so much is because he said that transgender children are all God's children. There's nothing wrong with them. He's been trying to reach out to everyone in Texas, which is exactly why, even though Beto O'Rourke was very popular back in the day, he still never got the numbers that Tallarico has now. In the polls, Beto O'Rourke was always at least 5 points behind Ted Cruz, and everybody hates Ted Cruz. Anyone who builds their social media platform off of openly telling you that it's a good idea to sabotage your own side, I would highly question their motives. The Republicans are so terrified about potentially losing the Congress in November that they're pulling out all the stops to try to get influencers to sabotage the left by any means necessary, claiming that it's morally superior to dog your own side or just don't vote. And those of us who are not in a coma in 2024 know exactly where that leads us. And after these 2 years of Donald Trump and the Republicans just absolutely screwing the country, these influencers still have their heads shoved far up their ass. I have a very important piece of advice for them.
Take a sniff, pull it out.
Are you talking about Kyle Kalinske? Kyle Kalinske is not a tanky whatsoever. Like, that dude, if anything, I remember many times I've watched his videos and thinking, wow, there's some leftists that would really kind of take issue with what he's saying right here, which is essentially, he doesn't say vote blue no matter who. He doesn't say that. He won't say that. But he essentially makes that argument constantly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's constantly just basically saying, is that who you're talking about? I'd love to know what it is about him that he's done to make you think that.
I need more context, and I need to know which Kyle we're talking about here.
For sure. I mean, there might be another one I'm not thinking of, but no, like tankies are like, you know what? Let's look at this guy.
Tankies are Stalinists. That's what they are. They're authoritarian communists. Kyle Kulinski is not an authoritarian communist.
Tankies are the ones who essentially, there's tankies, and then there's just influencers who may not be tankies, but more or less are pushing the same line, right? That like, at this point, anybody that's more interested, and I felt this way for like a decade now, anybody that's more interested in, honestly, more than that. So once I started noticing, this is during Obama's last administration that I really started noticing. It might have been 2011, 2012 when I actually was noticing for the first time, like, oh, there's like a contingent of people on the right that are actually like really bigoted and shitty. You know what I mean? Like, I still didn't understand how big it was, but essentially, if you've been covering Democrats shit, criticizing them far more than you're ever covering what's going on the right, I mean, yes, we do need to keep hold them accountable, but essentially at this point, there's not much practicality other than seeing who it is that we're putting into office right now. So watching, paying attention to the primaries matters. Seeing that we are actually in many cases putting the more progressive candidate into the race, that's a great thing.
The time to go hard at liberals is when liberals are in power. If they are not in power, they're not the problem.
If you're looking at it like I can't wait to get my candidate into office and then I can just not pay attention, you're doing it wrong. You get your candidate into office and then they become your enemy.
Yeah.
That's why we need to teach it. I mean, yeah, we're not saying like you need to fucking level bad faith or never celebrate the successes or anything, but you just need to be like, treat them like they are I don't know, a dog you're trying to train, and if they don't fucking get it right, let them know. Don't fucking give them a treat. I don't know. That's the best I could come up with. But there was that guy that I was looking at a while back, and I was wanting to kind of look at his channel maybe, unless there's anything else you guys want to talk about. But this will be kind of related. And also here is a quick kind of palate cleanser. So I went to the Museum of Pop Culture in 2019. I'm sure I've talked about it before. It was fun. Saw a lot of cool stuff. Here is an image of an actual gizmo from Gremlins that was used in the filming of it, because all the stuff in all the pictures I took, which were a lot, were actual props, movie props, that were used in the filming. Here's a gizmo, and it's just the way they decided to display this thing is like, what? Gizmo is on some mushrooms, apparently, and he's just seen the sky for the first time on mushrooms. Did I see Spider-Man kick Jake Lang's? No. Is that a thing?
No. What? I saw Darth Vader give a speech in front of a town council in favor of flock cameras.
Oh, God.
I saw that clip.
Oh my God! Here it is. You're right. It happened. Oh dear.
Wait, so are we saying that Tom Holland kicked Jake Lang's ass, or was it just somebody dressed as Spider-Man?
Just a guy in a Spider-Man suit. Make sure that this video has it.
Isn't Jake Lang the
big old
MMA
Nazi
guy who's a neo-Nazi? Yeah.
I don't know if he's an MMA guy, but he's a
He
neo-Nazi.
used to be.
Okay. Well, he goes around to various places and starts shit because that's just that's how they get attention on themselves. And he starts shit, and then he tries. The thing is about kicking Jake Lang's ass is that's what he wants. He wants to have video of a bunch of black people or whatever like beating him up, because that actually kind of benefits him in a fucking racist way. So let me see. Download that real quick, and then we're gonna check it out. Because yes, sir, there certainly is video of it. Come on, don't fail to download. Download. God damn it. Is it because it's like violence or something? Why won't my downloader download this thing?
That's a good one.
Oh, got it.
Burn. That's a good burn right there. We all know which part is shrunken down, don't we?
His brain.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, was it a penis thing? It was a penis. Sorry, I ruined your penis.
I presume it was a penis thing, but I think it's actually the brain.
Spider-Man is a hero who doesn't wear a cape.
I can. Are you saying something?
I said not all heroes wear capes, and Spider-Man is a
Oh,
hero who doesn't wear capes.
yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Spider-Man Tifa.
See if we got any. Oh, and they got a guy with a cross. Like, come on, this hackneyed shit, man. Y'all are desperate, desperate for some distraction. And now all anybody's gonna know is that Spider-Man fucked you up. I'm just kind of scanning it, see what else. Nothing. Okay. New York Post. The video is titled "Chaos Erupts as Man in Spider-Man Costume Attacks lunges at Jank Lang during Minneapolis protest." Anyway, one more time. Yes. Wow. Wow. Such form.
Speaking of Spider-Man, I know you have now seen Brand New Day, right? I don't think we talked about it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Not really. Not outside of I guess what I said in Discord.
Yeah. So it's my favorite Spider-Man movie now, I think.
I think it's mine too. I mean, I'd have to go back and watch Spider-Man 2, but honestly, that one did not, in my mind, hold up the same way that it seems to for everyone. I know it is the
Yeah.
best of the Raimi trilogy for sure. But I can't for the life of me, I can't, when I think about it, I'm like, yeah, that was a great movie, but then I'm like, what is there really anything about it that has held up compared to a lot of other movies that I've seen that are great since then? You know, people still say that's their favorite superhero movie and stuff, and it's like, that's fine. I'm not just saying anybody shouldn't have that view. It just didn't resonate for me like that. So this one has it all. It has Spider-Man fighting several villains. The only thing it doesn't have, which some people are mad about, is a costumed animal themed primary villain. But what it does have is Spider-Man using his brains and using empathy and
Mhm.
doing the right thing in at least what he believes is the right thing in every context. It has him his good nature and heroism rubbing off on the most callous fucking angry asshole in the Marvel universe. It's all good. I think that he looks better than he's ever looked.
Mhm.
Every single and just some of the action. Like there's one scene early on it's actually the result of the tank chase. Whenever the tank thing crashes into the damage control building or whatever, and the way that he saves people in that is like it's kind of jarring because he's like he has no choice but to essentially spin a web and then fucking just yank these several people against the wall really hard as this fucking tank is crashing through, and it's
Mhm.
like the kineticism of it was fucking like holy shit, man, this is
Yeah.
fucking great. Like
Yeah, and that's one of the things I really love about Tom Holland as Spider-Man is that he his background is like in dance and stuff, so he can bring a level of kineticism to the role that the other two who've played Spider-Man couldn't
yeah.
because they didn't have that background. I know he does a lot of his own stunts, like he's like
To be
Jackie
fair,
Chan.
actually, to be fair, Andrew Garfield did have some ballet dance and stuff in his background, so there's some of that does come through.
Okay.
But yes, it's like with Tom Holland, the literal flipping around and stuff is like that. He's far more, and just his size and his energy level kind of thing. I will say this, that you can still tell in certain scenes that he has modeled his basically his communication whenever he's Peter or Spider-Man, the way he speaks, especially when he's really upset or whatever. You can tell he just watched the shit out of Back to the Future. Like he is just doing Michael J. Fox still, and that's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. But you can tell that that's where the basis for how he started doing Peter Parker in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, I often forget that Tom Holland is British. Like I'll see interviews of him for like promotion and stuff, and for a minute my brain goes, wait, that's Peter Parker. What is he talking like a British guy?
My
So he's
son
convincing
literally
to me as an American.
before the movie there was one of those movie things or whatever it's called with Maria Menounos, and there was like a clip of actually what's her name from Collider, Perry Nemiroff interviewing Bernthal and Holland. And it was just one question that they showed her asking, but it was like asking about their relationship as friends and how that affected the characters and stuff. Anyway, Bernthal answers, and then Tom Holland answers, and my son looks at me and he goes, "Why is Spider-Man doing a British accent?" It's like he is British. He was like, "What?"
Yeah. And that's for like a split second. That's my reaction every time.
Have you heard him tell what the word that he has the most struggle
Yeah,
with saying is?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny. Yeah, no, he's gotten like this movie. I feel like he, having just watched all of the Spider-Man appearances in MCU in the last month or so before this, he definitely leveled up as Peter Parker and as an actor in general in this. Like it's another level. He's always been good. He's always been,
Yeah.
solid actor and even very good in emotional scenes and stuff. With this, it was like he's gonna be around a while. This is not gonna be like Tom Holland's done in the public eye after he's Spider-Man, right? Like hopefully he continues to find good roles and stuff because that's really all he needs. The guy's got fucking talent, a lot of it.
Agreed.
Sent me some
Yeah.
pictures, sketchy. Oh, cool. Awesome.
Sent
These
us
are
pictures
amazing.
of what?
Oh, you'll see in just a second here.
Okay.
I'll pull them up. But
Yeah, Big Fieldy, that's what I think too. Like, I can't. He's so good in the role that even when I look back on Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, who I liked, I can't buy them totally as Spider-Man anymore. And that's why I'm worried about, not worried, but I think if I go back and I watch Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which was previously my favorite Spider-Man movie, I'm going to find it less convincing because he's not Tom Holland.
yeah,
That's how good Tom Holland is in the role to me.
That's about how I feel. Is that? Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, one picture. Yep.
Yes.
Two pictures. I'm saving the best one for last, so don't worry.
Oh, that's not the best one?
Nope, believe it or not. It's this
one. Nice.
Although, look at this guy's face. The guy holding the flag there. He's like, it's Spider-Man. He's going to get me. Oh, he sent me another one. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, that's a good one. Cool. But yeah, I mean, although I could see them totally trying to use this as like, look, Spider-Man hates Christians. He's attacking the cross and the flag. It's like, no, he's attacking a fascist. They just, as the old saying goes, you use a cross and a flag. The other one, the last one is just Spider-Man on top of a car. I don't know. Is there video of him on the car? I want to know how long he was on the car. What was he doing there?
Big Fieldy posted a great picture. I don't know if Big Fieldy did the work on it, but it's in the Discord for House of F under.
He's a menace. Yeah, I'll find that one.
That's a great. See, that looks like it's from the behind the scenes of a movie or something.
Yeah, I mean, it almost kind of looks like the first Spider-Man costume, except for
the
eyes a little bit. This is truly a great image. Yes, thank you for posting this in the Discord. Because, yeah. I remember whenever they tried to make a nickname for him be the Iraq Knight. That's what they were doing back in the early '90s.
The Iraq Knight. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like
that's not cringe.
I think it was because, you know what, I know why it was, because this is very early '90s, at the end of the '80s, where we had the grim dark era of comics entered into things, and Spider-Man did suffer quite a bit from that, because that's when you had the Spider-Man Reign storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's old and you find out that his semen was radioactive and killed Mary Jane, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
Not great.
Not my Spider-Man.
Not my Spider-Man. My Spider-Man's got real clean cum. Okay.
Not my Spider-Man.
All right. How long have we been at this? An hour and 45. Okay.
So you told me there was some channel you wanted to look at. I think it was Literate Machine.
There's that, but the video
or something like that.
a little long. I just, yeah, we could check out some of the video.
I have no idea what it is.
Who
I have
all
no
here
context.
uses ground news? Does anybody use ground news? If you use ground news, give me a one in chat.
I do not, by the way, so I can't give you a one in chat.
Well, while I look for this video, here's one that we should be aware of what these motherfuckers say. So here's this from Right Wing Watch.
The Treaty of Versailles humiliated Germany and left the nation in economic and moral shambles. And it was attacked from within by grossly immoral Jewish forces during the Weimar Republic. It was a period of like extreme degeneracy marked by homosexuality, transgenderism, widespread brothels, child prostitution, sexual exploitation of Christian children. I think about like the Epstein files, but on a larger scale.
As everybody knows what we call this kind of guy? Well, there's a word for him.
Nazi?
Yep.
Who is that guy?
He is
I mean, how did you find this guy?
Through just because I get recommended Right Wing Watch videos, and that's what this is from. Is Right
Oh,
Wing
okay.
Watch up on the corner there? Right Wing Watch reports. This is just the people that look out for these motherfuckers, and that's how I heard of them. And the thing is that this is where, like, for example, I ended up encountering that guy that turned out to be what JD Vance's priest or whatever.
Yeah.
That said, like, was essentially saying that slavery was cool or whatever.
Oh no, that's Doug Wilson. He's Pete Hegseth's guy. The church that Pete Hegseth goes to, the guy who runs that church advocates for eliminating the 19th Amendment and says slavery is not that bad.
So here's he's from a Christian podcast thing. I'm sure it's on, like, I don't even know, but like it's not obviously not mainstream, but it's a good idea to kind of have some source that you can kind of check on this kind of stuff, or at least I will anyway. If you want to use me for that source, because I will always keep one ear to the ground with this shit, because this stuff can become obviously more mainstream over time, and it's good to have an idea beforehand. And that's what they're doing right now, is they're trying to, because and the reason they're doing it is because we have finally successfully made the idea, the notion, which is a true thing, stick, that Trump is a fascist, and they are doing fascism. Most people see that now. The first administration was very frustrating for a lot of you, I'm sure, as well, because the libs did not want to admit to that. They didn't want to see it, and then it was over. And it's like, oh, well, you can't be that fascist, right? And then, of course, January 6th happened. A lot of people were like, maybe he's a fascist.
Man, Jay Bird, you've got some bangers tonight. Oh my God.
Somehow Joseph Gross returned. But what they're doing now is going, okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, he's a fascist. And so what? Things we want to do. Maybe they are Nazi stuff. But look, here's the thing. Nazis were kind of cool. Clip that. Take it out of fucking context. No. Larry Niven wrote what?
Larry Niven wrote the essay, Man of Steel, Woman of Kleenex, which is where the joke about Superman's ejaculating, killing human women came from. Because the muscles, Superman is so strong.
When was that written?
It's in the 60s or 70s sometime.
Okay, good. Because then I was mistaken, because I was about to defend Mallrats and say
that's where Mallrats got it from. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I guarantee he blows load like a shotgun right through Lois's back. That's what he says. All right. Here's this.
Hi. Do you have a problem with getting your news from only one side of the political spectrum? Are you being fed a never-ending doom scroll of media that only serves to reinforce your existing biases and may even push you into more extreme views? Well, have I got a solution for
I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, Bob. I think you can control this if you want to. So.
Okay.
For you. That's right, it's my sponsor, Not actually my sponsor. Ground News. Ground News will show you news stories like you've never seen them before. The same story presented from multiple news sources at once, conveniently categorized by political bias, as well as showing you news stories that might be getting covered by news organizations of one political leaning, but not another, to help you get out of your filter bubble. Sounds great, right? Right? Chapter 1. So what's the problem with Ground News anyway? There's this video by Ben Jordan about how capitalism is dying. Something I was researching for a certain other episode. And his video is pretty good. However, there was one part that made me do a double take. At one point in the video, he says there's a problem that
every piece of news that the average voter sees is manipulated by a third-party aggregator.
Yeah, true. But then at the very end of the video, he turns around and says,
I suppose you want some advice on how to educate yourself about current events when an exceeding amount of news organizations are owned by billionaires and sometimes even governments. Well, Ground News. Come here, I'll show you.
And I'm like, wait a minute. Now, you might have heard of Ground News because they've been buying ads on popular YouTube channels faster than Raycons and Raid Shadow Legends. But Ground News is also a corporate news aggregator serving up stories via an opaque algorithm, right? And it's not only that, but it's a news aggregator whose chief feature is that it classifies the entirety of news output along a simple one-dimensional left-right political axis. Now, Ben Jordan says that Ground News is independently owned and funded by subscribers, but this is at best a half-truth. According to their own website, in addition to subscribers, Ground News is funded by an unidentified handful of mission-aligned independent investors. And if you look in PitchBook, you'll find a number of venture capital firms in the mix, including Techstars, which was also one of the early investors in Uber. But even if we accept Ground News independent,
I have always felt sus about Ground News because their business model seems to be built on the assumption that that the extreme left and the extreme right are equally misinformed, and they base that strictly on the fact that somebody has a clearly defined political position, and they don't bother to check whether the facts actually support one side or the other. They just assume that the facts do not support either extreme. It's that whole thing, you know the meme where the extreme right wants to murder all black people and the extreme left wants to give everyone health care. We are not the same, right? So I'm glad this guy is digging into this subject.
at face value, how do they even determine the political bias of a news organization? According to them, it's based on the work of 3 other independent organizations: All Sides, Alfontes Media, and Media Bias Fact Check. I could deep dive into these 3 orgs, the opaque nature of those involved in creating their ratings, and none of them actually tell you the names of the people doing the ratings or what their credentials are, and the fact that they're all, like Ground News itself, for-profit businesses. But I think it's more telling to look at the results of their work as represented by Ground News.
Yeah, Jaybird, my problem with the whole framing of it is that it's based on the idea that there is an ontological center in politics that is always equally spaced between the extreme right and the extreme left, like you're one half fascist and one half communist or something like that. And when I think about the center of politics, I think that's where a person who's a centrist should be standing wherever the majority opinion is on any given political issue. And, the majority of Americans, for instance, not a majority of Democrats, a majority of Americans want universal health care. They support Medicare for all. That is the majority position. Therefore, it should be the centrist position. But instead, it is framed as the far left position because they're basing their understanding of politics on like team sports models or like a meme or something. And like the classification left versus right originally comes from French politics during the French Revolution, I believe, where people who were in favor of abolishing the monarchy sat on the left side of the parliamentary body, and people who were in favor of keeping the monarchy sat on the right. And that's where the division comes from: liberty versus authoritarianism. But that's just kind of outdated, you know? So that's why I don't trust this. I've never trusted the framing that Ground News uses. Anyway, let's see what this guy has to say.
Could, of course, take issue with Ground News identifying the New York Times as a publication that leans left, considering the many efforts it's made under Nepo baby owner A.G. Sulzberger's ideals of neutrality and objectivity to buck that perception by hiring openly anti-woke journalists, giving voice to right-wing columnists, not to mention the famous 2020 editorial by Republican Senator Tom Cotton to send in the troops to put down the George Floyd protests, and causing longtime liberal economist and Nobel Prize winner Paul Krugman to quit through editing that he said toned down his voice and forced false equivalences on him. But a more concerning case, I think, is the Wall Street Journal, a publication owned by Rupert Murdoch's News Corporation, which also owns Fox News, and which Ground News tells us is politically in the center, but which, as far as I can tell, has never had an opinion piece to the left of Federico Franco. As I wrote this, the Wall Street Journal
Yeah, Wall Street Journal in the center. That's right.
Right. There, what is the, I think it may be a skit I've seen, but there's a idea floating out there where the line is, the honest man reaches out his hand and says, the right winger reaches out his hand and says, let's meet in the middle. The centrist steps forward to shake his hand. The right winger backs up 3 steps and says, let's meet in the middle. The centrist steps forward, etc., etc. That's what I think is kind of going on with Ground News.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, it makes sense. If you are capitalism, let's say you're Mr. Capitalism, and you like the way things are, because hey, things are going pretty well for you, generally speaking, like in the immediate term anyway. You're making more and more profit all the time. You're going to want to restrict the general frame of discussion and information that's being absorbed to, just it's almost like a window, like a Overton window or something. And yeah, you would want the center to be the Wall Street Journal of all things, instead of whereas realistically the center should be a position of maybe you aren't anti-capitalist, but you were very anti-corporate, and you were very much for stark regulations on corporate interests and capital interests and stuff like that. And
well, while you were away, I said that, to my mind, the center should be where the majority opinion is. Not saying whether the majority opinion is right or wrong, but a centrist, to my mind, is somebody who would support whatever majority opinion says. So if the polls say a majority of Americans support Medicare for all, which they do, by the way, that would be the centrist position. If that opinion changes, then the centrist would change. But that position is framed as the left-wing position, even though it's the most popular position in the country.
Because people would be a different point on the scale depending on the subject. Because
that's what I mean. A person who self-identifies, who says I'm an enlightened centrist, I should be who makes it a point of principle to always be the centrist, should be supporting things like Medicare for all or ending the war in Iran or etc., because those are the majority opinion and therefore the center of American political opinion. But they don't.
Because of not Ground News, and yes, now Ground News, but Ground News I think is what is the app, the tech corporate distillation of that capitalist interest to keep the conversation limited to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it's at the same time it's kind of fucked up. It delegitimizes. I can't even say it now. I'm Candace Owens. Delegitimizes leftist perspective, and in a way, kind of legitimizes right perspective. And if you're, someone who roots your values and your morality in, doing as little harm as possible, then yeah, that's kind of a problem.
I have a friend who, I haven't talked to him in a few years, but I used to train. He's one of the guys I used to train with, and he was very much self-consciously always calling himself a centrist. And I've watched his evolution on Facebook as he's gotten increasingly right-wing. I don't think he realizes he's been doing it. Because
like Adam and Stitch or whatever. Like apparently, that somebody an insider that was like kind of close to them at some point. I'm friends with, told me that that's essentially they believe the things they're saying, and they don't realize that they have gone further right over the years. Like they're always essentially were more friendly to the right, but yeah.
Yeah, because their principle, or my friend's principle anyway, was this is like his the word is escaping me. But his what he takes as his principle is that he should always take the moderate position on everything, because it's the safest way to figure out or to not be wrong about something. It's basically the coward's way out, is what I would say.
I mean,
But
that could be true if that's your starting point and you're willing to move based on input.
yeah, his axiom, that's the word I was trying to think of. His axiom is that
if you're trying to say that it's safe to start in the center of two positions and then investigate, and then yeah, that could be true. But like, who does that? Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I would always push him on that. Be like, yeah, that's a good place to start. If you don't know something, if you don't know the facts of an issue or whatever, then you should be like, okay, I'm going to listen to all sides equally until I figure out what's going on. But his problem is he never moves beyond the listening to all sides equally part. And then when some sides are cut out of the conversation through power relations that he has not investigated, he just assumes the marketplace of ideas eliminated that possibility from the table. He gets dragged further to the right.
Yep. I mean, look, there's really only one true moderate. I think we all know who it is.
Tim Pool.
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, because as we have here, a bunch of evidence of this fact. Oh, where'd it go? Shit. Well, what happened? It disappeared. Why'd that happen? There he is. Let me do this here real quick. Right-wing podcaster from Chicago. Paid by Russia. Yep. Added to the White House press pool. Yeah. Did you remember? Did you see his first question? His first official question as a White House press correspondent. Did you see that moment? It's
no,
fucking crazy.
I didn't even know he was an official White House correspondent. What the fuck?
Because
Oh
this administration fucking completely fucked up the press pool.
Of course.
They made him one, and then so whenever Caroline Leavitt called on him, normally their questions are like, something about even the right wing ones tend to ask some question about like what's going on with the administration, even if they're setting it up a softball or something like that. He goes, what is it like to know that so many people in here are like Democrat plants or something like that? I remember what it was he said, but it was like, holy shit, dude. You were just fucking right out of the gate. So fucking cringe. Anyway. They changed it to Tim Pool to, oh, that's good. Look at them. They got called out enough times. But the fact is, anybody that's making that content should know the difference. And if they don't, yeah, fuck them. They're liars. Anyways, back to this video.
Such absolute center takes as Mamdani's socialist supermarket may put little grocers out of business, despite the fact that they're specifically aimed at food deserts. A piece called "The Justices Are Finally Colorblind," celebrating the destruction of the Civil Rights Act by the Supreme Court.
Yeah, why are you so popular, and how did your dick get so girthy, Mr. President?
And can I see it?
Can we all see it?
And Obama's legacy is the Trump presidency.
Look, he's not LBJ, okay? If anybody knows your presidential history, then you know what I'm talking about there. Do you know that about LBJ?
I know the rumors, yes.
Not rumors. He used to pull his dick out, or he did one time. Pulled his dick out in front of a reporter when they asked him, "Why are we in Vietnam?" He pulled his dick out, and that was it.
Wow.
Yeah. Another time, and other times, there's reports of him like he'd be peeing in the bathroom, and somebody that like would come up near him and was like start saying something that he was annoyed by or whatever. He would just kind of like turn and piss on their shoe.
Okay, well, that's more defensible, but I can respect. I would never do that, but I respect that.
So he's the guy that created the term "the Great Society." He's the one that had in his mind that America should be literally, there should be no poor people. There should be no racism. There should be like everybody should be doing well. Like that should be the America, and that's pretty cool. Except like he also was the guy that kept us in Vietnam. So him and McNamara.
With the lead line, his foreign policy was one of retrenchment, and his signature health insurance law made things worse. Does them implicitly criticizing Trump by blaming him on Obama make the Wall Street Journal centrist? What kind of a bad joke is this exactly? Or consider The Economist, another publication marked as center by Ground News, and which, for example, recently had a cover story about how best to fight Gen Z's socialism, which it portrayed as a me-first doctrine and a threat to prosperity. Or Forbes magazine, which literally has a billionaires section, and whose articles include such nuanced takes as one in June by the magazine's billionaire founder about how California's wealth tax is, quote, part of a tyrannical scheme for global economic control by people who don't understand that economic growth is limitless, something I debunked in another video. That's definitely center, according to Ground News. What do you think center is supposed to mean here exactly?
That's the thing too. Is that like, when was the last time anything was truly innovated? That's what the AI thing is about. They're trying to convince us that that's what's happened, that we finally hit the next level of innovation. And guys, come on, look, we're totally worth all this money that we have. Like we deserve to have all this and stuff. Because look, it's like super Google. It knows you. It knows how to respond to things pretty fast and stuff. Like it's all stuff that it stole from the internet, and you could find this stuff out anyway. But like, still, it knows who you are. And it says things that make you feel good. It's awesome, right? That's essentially what it is. There's been nothing innovated in. Like, I mean, yes, the stuff that we call AI, which is not AI, machine learning code that is able to, I guess, create compounded, complex tasks with itself, is beneficial in like medical contexts, in like, certain things that I'm too stupid to understand. But that's about it. Innovation has not really happened in a long time. We got these guys that they fucking parade around like they're supposed to be innovators and game changers and stuff, but they haven't really innovated shit. Must never innovated anything. Yeah, it's all bullshit and it's bad for you. All right. Yeah, he did love saying that. He was from Texas, man. Come on. I'm from Texas too, but I don't say the harder you are. So just saying, it's back then is much more common, I bet.
And who benefits from defining it this way? And while there's long been a distinction between the news and opinion sections of newspapers, and even news-related television programs, this isn't a distinction that Ground News makes. And while the writers and newscasters of the two sections might be kept separate,
so the thing that I would normally, I would go by whenever I was still making videos on a regular basis, and I still do it, like what am I going to make a stream about? Because there's a lot of stuff going on, is generally what do I find my thoughts going to most without even trying, right? Like what's the thing that is popping into mind, or combination of that, and what thing is most beneficial, hopefully, to my audience, that will not only be something they want to hear about, but something that will be helpful to them. And yeah, that's
well, if it's your first video, I assume you don't have an audience yet.
True.
So if it's a scripted thing, I would say pick whichever one of these subjects you find yourself thinking about the most and do that one. And then let the audience find you. And then you can build from there about figuring out branding and whatever else you need to interact with your audience. But if you don't have an audience yet, it doesn't matter.
True.
Who do you want to attract to your content and make?
I wish I had the freedom of no audience. No, just kidding. I really appreciate all of you. But like, there is a freedom in it. You're just like, I can do whatever I want. There's nobody to disappoint. The only way to go is up. Yeah. And just if you want an extra challenge option, Bob gave great advice, but I would also say that a different, more challenging maybe would be like, write about how there's too much stuff going on for you to determine what's going on, and like because I'm certain a lot of people could relate to that. Just kind of, how's that feel? What do you think it does to your daily life and your focus and do you see an inflection point where things might change, or some way that we have to take personal accountability to change our, input in our media diet in order to not feel like there's so much going on, that kind of thing. I don't know. Or the WNBA. That's good.
Yeah. Like I would
Honestly,
watch a video on the WNBA because I don't know shit about the
I
WNBA,
haven't
so I might
seen
learn
any
something.
of them. I haven't seen any about it. Like any just like videos like that are just like
Like other than the fact that it exists, I have no idea what you're talking about when you refer to stuff going on with the WNBA.
Oh, you don't
Like,
know? So it's chud shit. So there's some former NBA guys, I guess, that showed up at the WNBA at a game like last week or whatever, dressed as women, saying that they
mhm.
should be able to play in WNBA because they're trans women.
Oh god, they did the fucking Ben Shapiro movie.
Yeah, but also there's currently no trans women playing in the WNBA, so it's just a
Yeah.
fucking like there's no
Okay.
point. They did it because the WNBA is, I guess, theoretically the most high-profile women's sports thing in America that somebody might pay attention to. So that was just a fucking a stunt to get anti-trans bigotry, in the news. I have not been keeping up. No, I just only saw that did happen, and I read an article about it, and I remember that every time I relearned about stuff about the WNBA, I'm always like, man, the names are so much cooler than the fucking team names of NBA. They're not, maybe not cooler, but like I mean they're equally cool, and just like it's a breath of fresh air to read these team names, because it's like the I don't know, the juice or something like that is the name of it. I don't remember exactly, but like they're different.
They're still under the same upper management and editorial policies. The Wall Street Journal leading a story about ICE traffic stops with quotes from Trump about their importance is a more subtle form of conservative bias than an opinion piece attacking ICE protesters in New Jersey, but both go out under the same editorial auspices. In fact, it sure seems like the Times feels compelled to respond to constant allegations of liberalism by self-consciously giving voice to the right, while papers like the Wall Street Journal don't bother with any such thing for the left, which creates a media environment designed to lurch steadily rightward. It's worth noting that the notion that mainstream news organizations like the Times, ABC News, or CNN are liberal media was once highly controversial. In the 90s, for example, longtime ABC News anchor Sam Donaldson remarked, "People on the right say we're too liberal, and people on the left say we're in league with the status quo, which means we're right where we should be, right in the middle." At that time, the idea that mainstream news was liberal was an accusation from the right, but that didn't mean it was accepted by the public at large, much less the newscasters themselves. Indeed, the nonpartisan nature of the news was not only believed in by those reporting it, but was and remains something actively enforced by mainstream news outlets and journalism schools. Even opinion writers who are...
I mean, I'll be honest. That was something I had. That was probably the last thing. There was the most ingrained thing that I had in my mind about society. That once I started moving to the left, and it was just a pretty quick thing. Like I had already developed essentially leftist positions based on humanism before I started applying my humanism to politics, right? And then as soon as I started doing that, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm pretty much on the left here. But the thing that I struggled with the most, I was still working on this when I was making YouTube videos in 2020 and stuff. A lot of those early videos, you go back and watch, you might see some of this. Whereas like I was still like I just had to work out the notion that I had absorbed through journalism school and shit, that that there's a way to do objective media reporting that is not full of bias. Like I mean, I wasn't so naive to think there's literally no bias, but I
Mhm.
thought there was, that media before, YouTube and the internet and stuff was generally pretty objective and was just reporting the facts as they are. I had not yet fully grasped the fact that a company that owns an organization, or you're just an editor, might choose to not cover certain things or cover certain things more, and stuff like that. That was all sort of breaking down during the summer of 2020 when I started looking at the news reports of, George Floyd protests and stuff, where it would be like, I saw this one thing where it was like, the news team, the field team stood around, waiting, like they stood around for hours, not filming anything, while there was one side just a bunch of protesters, and then like 20 feet away a bunch of cops, and they're all just standing there. Nobody's doing anything, you know what I mean? But then once the night came and the actual protest started, they turn on the cameras, and and it's like they don't show that first part that happened for hours. They're just standing there for hours. Nobody's fucking, you know what I mean? It's like,
right,
well,
and
you
that's
can't.
not objective, right? That's what my thought was. I took some journalism courses when I was in college, and I was like the co-editor of the college paper. And the thing that always bugged me was we were taught, the pedagogy of journalism at the time was, we were taught that objectivity and balance are the same thing.
Right. That's not.
And I would push back and be like, no, 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 no. It's objectively true that the Holocaust happened. We don't have to give equal time to people who deny the Holocaust happened. That's not objectivity.
You know, and by the way, hey Eric, what's up, man? Congratulations on 10,000 subs, by the way. That fucking recent video about
Oh man,
that movie with the dinosaurs, fucking brilliant masterclass in chud debunking. That's gonna go. There's like 3 points in the video that need to go in the volume 2 of Chud's Exposed that I need to put together, man. Like that's really
that
fucking good.
that was a murder, dude. Oh my god. Especially I went and saw the movie after that, and I love the movie. I just like dinosaur movies. I was intending to see it anyway, but I went to see it in the theater because of that video. And god damn, was Mr. CD from Scotland lying through his teeth about almost every element and of that movie. It was.
I do have some questions I'd like to ask you sometime, like you know, off stream, like how you came about, you know, that movie in particular, and then those specific murder points that you had. Like I was just like, I don't know how that all like the stars aligned there or what, but or if it was just like diligent work. But I'd love to know. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, and then like as far as what was I saying? Fuck.
Objectivity,
Oh yeah, I was
journalism.
responding to something specific you were saying. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I was saying that objectivity and balance are not the same thing, but they're taught that way in journalism school, or at least they were when I took journalism classes.
Yeah.
And the objective reporting would be the Holocaust happened. The balanced reporting would be like these people disagree about whether the Holocaust happened.
So to that point, I kind of give a little bit more forgiveness to the in the past approaching journalism from that way, because I just think that, you know, while everybody, there's always been misconceptions, there's always been misinformation and disinformation. I think generally speaking, maybe this is just like a complete bullshit in my mind. Most, I don't know, there weren't as many people willing to lie for their like just straight up get up and lie about everything constantly for political gain. I know that existed. I know politicians have always lied to some degree or another, but like it just seems like that society in general has become more flagrantly dishonest and willing to lie to achieve a political goal. And so, you know, for instance, what made me think of that is like, yeah, there's always been, since the Holocaust, there's been deniers, but like, you know, not as many as there probably are now. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I hadn't really thought that out too well. Dr. Midnight. Yeah, thank you, man. That's a good point. I forget to do this myself. Please hit the like button. You know, thumbs up or dislike. You can hit that too. That also is welcome and encouraged. Why not? Fuck it. Click subscribe if you're not. And then if you are subscribed and you have not become a channel member, by the way, thank you, Big Fieldy, for the gifted membership earlier. Whoever got that, congratulations. Welcome. And then also you can choose to head over to patreon.com/actualfandom. That is the handle. Yes, I'm not saying it wrong. And you can be a member. I mean, a patron, or you can be a member of the channel here on the channel. And I'm awesome at this, guys. Thank you. Anyway, so you know, I would recommend this. Video is pretty lengthy. I guess it's like, yeah, 50 minutes long. I would recommend going and watching it. The Literate Machine is the name of the channel. Go give him a sub, give him a like, and check out the rest of this video because he makes some points. I mean, he's already kind of just destroyed the notion that ground news operates on in the first 7 minutes, but
Yeah.
It's worth watching the whole thing for sure. This is also worth watching again. Let me just pull this up one more time. Eric Debunks, have you seen this? Wait, nope. Yep, there it is. Spider-Man! Save me, Spider-Man, from this Nazi. Wait, did I already pass it up? What the hell? Okay.
I think you passed it. Here we go. He does whatever a spider can.
And a spider can beat the shit out of an Aussie, believe it or not. Yeah, you know, as time goes on, as I get more, you know, time under my belt, and I get into practice of a more professional-ish streaming experience for you guys, which I'm, you know, gonna be working on, especially once I get moved. Right now, I'm kind of in limbo. It's hard to focus on much for very long. My attention span is about 2 days long right now. Literally, like I can focus for about 2 days on something, and then like it just my brain resets when I sleep after the second day, and then I'm like, what's going on in the world today? Oh yeah, and then halfway through the day, I'm like, I was working on that thing. Shit. That's ADHD for you. It's a little bit in chaos whenever there's a trauma triggering circumstances at large, and there are. Moving is always a bit of a triggering situation for me because of, you know, childhood stuff, but it's under control. I'm not like you know, super duper having a hard time, but I'm having a struggle, to be honest. And I'm looking forward to being moved, which should happen officially by the end of September, I believe, is just almost certainly going to be the case. Once that does happen, I plan on kind of restarting with a fresh eye on, you know, not being a professional, but like, you know, being a professional live streamer and video maker. I want to do that as my job, my full-time job, essentially. And yeah, so in that way, if you're not a member now and you don't think that it's warranted to be a member and support me financially, I don't blame you. But my goal is to get to a point where you do feel that way. Um, and if you ever do, then certainly appreciate it. But you know who does appreciate and warrants your attention? Bob of the Old Ways in his side channel, which is
Armchair black belt. First of all, we should thank Big Fieldy for the super chat.
hell yeah, $2.
Thank you.
Thank you. $2 Australian too.
I assume those are better than American dollars right now.
Better, yeah. Ours is not so great these days.
Right. So this is the kind of thing you're going to have to get used to if you want to do this professionally. You're going to have to get really sociopathic about thanking people for money and
I know
marketing and all that crazy stuff.
It's yeah.
It's like 50 cents US.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, what I'm actually planning on doing is having reminders that will be going off throughout the live stream to, like, you know, let me know. So I'm thinking about it. I've got means and ways. Some folks got ways and means. We got means and ways or something like that. The old dirty bastard said at one point, maybe. Yeah, pay attention to me, streamer. I gave you money. Big Fieldy, you're so awesome, man. You down there in Australia with your giant Australian cock, you know?
Dance, monkey, dance.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Something about Armchair Black Belt?
Oh, the latest video is called Kung Fu versus Masculinity, and it takes a look at a classic Shaw Brothers film called The Clan of the White Lotus, which is about a guy, the hero, a Shaolin monk who learns he has to defeat his enemy by embracing his femininity and performing his femininity. That's the secret to winning in this particular movie. So that's just really interesting. So it's worth a deep dive, and the video takes one.
Hell yeah. I'm assuming Australian money is venomous as well. It's enormous. It's like nightmares large, you know, like it shouldn't be that large. Why does that exist?
I know that Australian money wants to kill me. That's what I know.
It's just like the nature and everything there.
Does Australian money carry itself in a pouch? Is it marsupial money?
That's pretty funny. Does Australian money I don't know, put a shrimp on the Barbie? I'm sorry, man, that's the best I got. Does it say that's not a knife, this is a knife?
That's a knife. That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Good times. You know, Big Field, I will say this, Big Fieldy is the guy who makes it so that not 100% of the Australians that I've known are shitty. Okay. So it's only 50% now. Anyways, what cliches? You telling me you don't put shrimps on Barbies down there? Come on. All right. Yeah. On your left, Patreon is live, and it is actually patreon.com/actualfandom. Check it out. I've taken a hit over the last couple months, and I'm not even mad about it. I understand. I have not been consistent, but yeah. Look up what a drop. I know what a drop bear is. That's a real thing, right? Certainly a real thing.
I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to ask.
Well,
I'll look it up though.
Look it up. Yeah. What else? That's about all I got here for you folks. I suppose other than to have a good weekend or week, week. Maybe showcast. I have not talked to anybody. Maybe showcast this week. Maybe not. Maybe I'll just stream on Wednesdays. Wednesday if there's nobody else willing to do a showcast.
I will say there's a gaping hole in my content habits at work on Wednesdays because of the lack of showcast content. That used to be my go-to end of the work day live stream to put on, like the last hour and a half or so I'm at work. And now I have to like scroll around to find things. So I miss it.
Well, maybe one day we'll do some. I'll be free to chill in late September. Hell yeah, that's right after I'll be moved. So maybe we can come back. Now that you're not mad at us for firing you, which means you're not fired anymore. Okay, that's really dumb. Well, that's all we got, folks. So take care. Have a good day. Have good I don't know, evening. Anything else I was trying to think of? It's completely escaped me. So with that in mind, I'll just I'm gonna play this new song that I played at the beginning. I'm gonna play it now. This is actually one that I wrote. The lyrics I wrote after the after the Otterly Noah situation happened. I wrote this because dude asked me what I thought about his situation, how he could navigate it or whatever. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Come on. Anyway, so it's a fun song. It's kind of got a disco vibe to it, I think. My girlfriend doesn't think so. There's a little disco DNA in this song, I believe. So with that in mind, have a good one, and peace.
Peace.
Get up on your feet. The sand beneath you is quick and it's deepening. Droning on and on and on and on and on. Bad on your pain, everything you lost. Never work for all the pain you go. Sounding alone is like it's somebody else's fault, but it's not. I'm not here to forgive. It's not my role to redeem you. Oh, the weight of guilt and the stink of shame. They're the medicine that you need. Trust me, I know what I speak. Yeah. Trust me.